on the wall here in just a few moments, making sure everybody on our live stream is able to see what's going on. Now, this storm is still out of our weather coverage area, at least the area of interest, but you can see that right there, just off to the north and east of Keys, northwest of 10 Killer. Unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot of WeatherBug network cameras near these particular areas, but if that storm continues to track off to the south and east, it will be moving towards Adair County, towards 10 Killer, Bunch, and maybe a little bit farther east towards Zion. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect with a considerable tag attached to it. That is for 70-mile-per-hour winds. So even if you're not in this area of rotation, even if you're not in the path of the storm, you still could experience some very strong winds as we go throughout the rest of the morning hours. All right, we're going to be taking a closer look at this storm right now here. We're going to zoom in. This is a look at that tornado-warned storm. Again, just off to the north of Tahlequah right now. You can see that area of rotation right there. I'm going to step out of the way here. We're actually going to go back to Weather 1 right now, Jacob, because I'm having a few problems with the iPad. So we're going to just kind of control everything from Weather 1 for a few moments here. But again, there's that tornado warning north of just southwest of Tahlequah right now. We're going to move this warning out of the way here. That way we can see that area of rotation a little bit closer. Again, this is moving off to the south and east at about 45 miles per hour right now. So we're going to do a storm track on that as well. We're going to get hyper local as that storm moves off to the south and east so you can know where exactly that storm is moving as we go throughout the rest of the morning hours. And it looks like now there is a confirmed tornado on the ground with this storm. So again, the confirmed tornado is not in our weather coverage area right now. However, we are doing this coverage because we do have a tornado warning in effect for Adair County. So this is why we're going to do this storm track here. We're going to get hyper local as that storm moves off to the south and east. Again, a tornado is on the ground causing damage right now just off to the west of Adair County. This is moving right over the 10 Killer area, an area that does get hit by tornadoes quite a bit. So here's a look at that track. If it continues off to the south and east, it's going to be heading towards Rocky Mountain at around 5:36 a.m., Lyons at 5:42 a.m., Sequoia Church at 5:42 a.m., Blanche at 5:45 a.m., Stillwell at 5:47 a.m., and then at 5:54 a.m. at Bell School. Again, there is a tornado on the ground right now. It is causing damage as it pushes into portions of the river valley at this time. And we're actually going to go back here to highly heated cooling mega Doppler. So, Jacob, we're going to go back here to Weather 2, and we're going to take a look at that. There it is. You see that black outline around that tornado warning? That is the observed tornado tag attached to it. And I bet you if we look here on radar and we go to correlation coefficient, there it is right there. You can see that CC drop right there. That's where that tornado is currently on the ground causing damage as it moves towards the 10 Killer area. So this is just outside of our weather coverage area, folks. The tornado itself is outside of our weather coverage area. However, if you live near Rocky Mountain, especially along Highway 100, south, a little bit farther south and east towards the Lyons, and then even farther east towards Cherry Tree and Zion, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. There is a tornado on the ground northwest of you that is causing damage at this time, and it is moving quickly off to the south and east at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. So, Jacob, we're going to continue to track this storm very closely. Unfortunately, we don't have any WeatherBug network cameras on this particular storm. But we can let you know, again, that there is a tornado on the ground right now, and it is causing damage. I'm actually going to switch to a different radar here. That way we can get a little bit of a better look at that area of rotation. So let's go back to Weather 1, Jacob, while that's still loading up. Again, there's that storm track I was just talking about. We can also look here on this particular radar, maybe a look at the velocity image as well while it's still loading up on Mega Doppler just to see how that area of rotation is looking. So we're going to try to pull that up here real quick and let you know about the latest details there. But again, there is a tornado warning that remains in effect for portions of Adair County right now in northeast Oklahoma. The storm is moving off to the south and east at 40 miles per hour. It's moving towards Rocky Mountain. So if you're in Rocky Mountain, can't stress this enough, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. This storm is barreling towards you. It does have a confirmed tornado that is causing damage. There's debris that is getting lofted right now, which is why it has that observed tag attached to it. So here's a look at that velocity image again. Not going to be the best just because this is not as great as Mega Doppler is, but you can see where that area of rotation is right there on top of the 10 Killer area. And we've actually got this now pulled up on Mega Doppler. So let's go back to Weather 2 now, Jacob, and let's go back here and let's take a look at Mega Doppler real quick so we can see that area of rotation. New severe thunderstorm warning was just issued. We'll check that out in just a few moments, but let's look at that rotation again. That's near 10 Killer. There it is right there. Still watching the leading edge of that line very closely as it progresses off to the south and east. Not seeing the tornado debris signature here from that Fort Smith radar. So it is a little bit challenging sometimes with these supercells, especially along these lines, to actually see where that area of rotation is. And again, these things ramp up really quickly and then they can kind of die off. But I definitely think there is still an area that we need to watch very closely here. Here's that normalized rotation. There it is right there, just off to the north of Tenkiller. Again, this is heading right towards the Rocky Mountain area right now. So if you live in Rocky Mountain, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now as that storm moves off to the south and east. Again, there is a tornado that is on the ground, and it is causing damage at this time just off to the north of Tenkiller. Jacob, let's go back here to Weather One briefly. I want to let you know about a new severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued. This goes until 6:15 a.m. So this is a little bit farther to the south. This is for southern Sequoia County, and as well as Muskogee and Haskell County, which is just outside of our weather coverage area. This goes until 6:15 a.m. And that is for 70-mile-per-hour winds. Again, hail, not really a big concern at this time. But I'm actually going to take off the warnings here just so you can see how this is kind of evolving. Now, if you live in Northwest Arkansas, there are no severe thunderstorm warnings currently in effect right now. So that's the good news. But if you live in, let's say, southern Washington County or a little bit farther south towards Crawford County, you need to be watching the storm very closely as well, because this is starting to push towards portions of the I-49 corridor, at least this supercell that we're watching very closely that has that tornado on the ground. So if you live in those counties, be watching this very closely. Be prepared. We'll let you know if you need to take cover. But if you live in Adair County, anywhere from Rocky Mountain to Zion to Stillwell, a little bit farther south towards Cherry Tree, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. There is a confirmed tornado on the ground that is causing damage and is lofting debris, which is why the National Weather Service has decided to pull the plug there on that tornado warning with the observe tag. We're going to go back to Weather 2 now, and we're going to go take another look at that velocity image. Again, you can see that area of rotation right there near the Tenkiller area. I'm actually going to switch right back to Tulsa again and see if we can still see that area of rotation there. There it is right there, northeast of Tenkiller. We're going to set that storm motion from warning. We're going to look at that PTDS. Not seeing any drops right now. There was one, again, just a few moments ago near Tenkiller. We go back to correlation coefficient, which, remember, if you were watching our live stream yesterday, this particular product that we're looking at right here is looking at the different sizes of things in the air, right? So that radar beam is scanning, and it's looking at the sizes of different things that are in the air. So if you see this little purple shaded color right here, this is typically rain. Everything is very uniform. But notice how just a few moments ago, right here, northwest of Tenkiller, you see these different colors. That means that the correlation coefficient is dropping. There's different things that's getting picked up, such as debris, maybe pieces of roof or trees. And that's why you see what we call a correlation coefficient drop, which tells us here in the weather lab that there is a tornado on the ground that is causing damage. Now, it's very difficult to see this right now because of the position of the storm. I'm kind of going back and forth between the Fort Smith radar and the Tulsa radar, but still a definitive area of rotation there at this time. If we go back here to normalized rotation, you can see that area of rotation right there, just off to the north of Rocky Mountain. Again, this particular product that you're looking at right here is actually showing the strength of the rotation, right? So you see those greens right there, those darker greens, that right there is a stronger rotation that's moving through the Tenkiller area right now. So this tornado is tracking off to the south and east. If it's still on the ground, it is going to impact Rocky Mountain. So I can't stress this enough. If you're in Rocky Mountain, you need to take your tornado precautions right now. This storm is going to continue to track off to the south and east at about 40 miles per hour. It's going to cross Highway 100. It's going to be heading towards Cherry Tree, Zion, and just south of the Stillwell area. So this is the area of interest right here that we're watching very closely this morning. That's why you need to take this very, very seriously. It was a little bit stronger, I'll admit, just a few moments ago. So maybe it's trying to cycle or it's weakening. We'll see a lot of the times with these lines of storms, right? They kind of ebb and flow. And here we go. We got a new tornado warning that's just been issued. So, Jacob, I believe this is going to be an extension of the tornado warning that is in effect for Adair County. And here we go. We've got some stuff going on here in studio. That's just letting us know that we've got that new tornado warning issued. Jacob, let's go to Weather 1 right now because we're going to look at that new tornado warning. This has been issued for Adair, Crawford, and southern Washington County. So this does include areas in southwestern Washington County. So if you live near Odell, if you live near Cherry Tree in Adair County, right along Oklahoma Highway 100, a little bit farther east towards Arkansas State Highway 265 and Highway 59 near Natural Dam. You're now under a tornado warning. You need to be in your tornado safe place right now. That also includes the city of Evansville, a little bit farther to the north towards Morrow as well. This storm is tracking off to the south and east very quickly. And again, does not have the observed tag attached to it. So if we go back to our Weather 2 source here, Jacob, I just want to show folks here the two different warnings. So you see this warning right here that has that black outline. That's the tornado warning with the observed tag attached to it. That was for the tornado that was on the ground northwest of Tenkiller. And now the extension of the warning no longer has that tornado possible tag attached to it. So I can actually show you that right here. Here's a look at some of those polygons. Look at the top of your screen there. You can see what all those different polygons mean. So again, there's a confirmed tornado here just a few moments ago. It's probably lifted based on what we're looking at here on radar. But if you live near that Rocky Mountain area, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. That storm is right on top of you. It's going to be crossing State Highway 100 within the next few moments. Now, here's that tornado warning that was just issued for eastern Adair, southwest Washington, northern Crawford County. Notice how it doesn't have that black outline attached to it, so it's not currently observed right now based on what we're seeing on radar. So maybe you had a brief touchdown. We typically see that with these QLCS type events. We're very familiar with that here in northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, and that's why this storm has all of our attention right now. We've also got that severe thunderstorm warning with the considerable tag attached to it in Sequoia County. We don't want to abandon that storm either, but this is obviously the most pressing storm at this time, which is why we're so hyper-focused on it. I know a lot of folks maybe watching the live stream right now. They're probably wondering what's going on in northwest Arkansas, what's going on in Benton and Washington County. Again, no severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for northwest Arkansas right now. We do have some flash flood warnings that remain in effect for portions of Washington, Benton, Madison, and Carroll County. This one goes until 6:30 a.m., and then the one in Madison and Carroll County goes until 8 a.m. But again, these storms that are moving through far northwestern Arkansas right now are below severe limits. So we are going to stay hyper-focused on these storms right now that are currently moving through portions of eastern Oklahoma and far northwestern Arkansas. Again, there's that tornado warning that's in effect until 6:15 a.m. for portions of Adair, Crawford, and Washington County. So we're going to be watching that very closely. I'm going to step out of the way here. Dan Scoff is going to be coming in very soon. He's going to help me cover these storms, so I'm flying solo for now. So just bear with me. We're just going back and forth, making sure we're not getting damage reports right now. Looks like, according to the National Weather Service, the reason why they dropped that confirmed tag is because there's no longer any radar indication that there's a tornado on the ground. So that's good, but we still have some strong rotation that we have to report at this time with the storm as it progresses off to the south and east. All right, let's go back to Weather 2 now, Jacob. Let's go back to High Heating Cooling Mega Doppler, and let's take a look at that storm. We're going to pull that up for you right now. Again, here's a look at that area of rotation that is just off to the south and west of Stillwell. And let's pull up Weather 2 right now, Jacob. So we can pull up Mega Doppler here. Again, the area of rotation right now is just off to the east of Tenkiller, southwest of Stillwell right now. If we look here at normalized rotation, that rotation is getting a little bit stronger. So this is what I was talking about, folks. I'm going to step back on the wall here so you can see that. Remember how I was talking to you about how this product can tell us if things are starting to ramp up just a little bit. So there it is right there, north of Rocky Mountain. I was just mentioning this location. Notice how we got those yellow shaded colors. That means there's a tornado possible in these areas. So again, this is moving off to the south and east right now. This is lining right up with Zion and Stillwell. Here's that new scan, maybe dropped off just a little bit there, but that's moving towards Stillwell and Zion. So if you're in those areas, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. We always talk about this all the time. When these storms move to the area, they can ramp up very quickly. They can drop tornadoes very quickly and cause damage. I'm not seeing anything on radar right now, but it does look like, according to normalized rotation at least, that maybe this has ramped up just a little bit. So at any time, this could drop a tornado. So if you live in Stillwell and Zion, I can't stress this enough, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. I'm going to go back here. We're going to get hyper local. We're going to look at some of these roads and make sure that folks know where exactly this storm is heading. So if we go a little bit back to the south, I was just mentioning Highway 100 a few moments ago. There it is right there, just off to the south and east of Rocky Mountain. There's another road right there. It looks like County Road 4,690. A lot of these smaller roads here in this very rural area of Adair County. Getting a little bit closer to Stillwell, Section Line Road. If you live near the high school there in Stillwell, you need to be taking cover right now. Go to the lowest floor, most interior room of your house and take cover now because there is a possible tornado on the ground right now near Stillwell. 4th Street as well, near downtown Stillwell. It looks like that area of rotation is going to be moving over there within the next 5 minutes or so. So Definitely a very strong storm. And we also have Chief Meteorologist Dan Scoff, who is here now. And Dan, just a few moments ago, this tornado warning had an observed tag on it. This was when it was still just west of our weather coverage area. That was near the 10-killer area. Since then, the tornado warning has lost its observed properties, but it's still in effect for portions of eastern Adair, southwestern Washington, and northern Crawford County at this time. So we're going to be watching that very closely. Dan's getting mic'd up right now. He's getting ready. We're going to have him in just a few moments. I think, Dan, we're about to have another confirmed tornado on the ground in just a few moments here. We're going to look here at storm relative velocity. Again, it's kind of hard to see here from that Tulsa radar, so we might switch to the Fort Smith radar in just a few moments. We're actually going to go here to relative velocity from Fort Smith. We're going to take a look at that from the Fort Smith radar here. Again, this is not going to be the best view of it, but it kind of gives you a general idea of where that area of rotation is. Again, this is just off to the south and west of Stillwell. This is going to be moving right along U.S. Highway 59. So if you live along U.S. Highway 59, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now, just making sure that we don't have any confirmation of a tornado on the ground. I don't see that quite yet with our tornado detector product, but definitely looks like this storm is starting to cycle right now, Dan, starting to get its act together as it moves off to the south and east at about 40 miles per hour. We're going to make another storm track on this storm as well. It's been a little while since we've made that storm track, so we're going to do that here on Weather 2. So if, Weather 1. Sorry about that. We're going to go to Weather 1, and we're going to take a look at that storm track real quick. Again, the storm's moving off to the east-southeast at about 40 miles per hour, so we're going to get hyper-local on this storm. This, again, the area of rotation is just off to the west of Stillwell right now. If that storm continues to track off to the east-southeast, it's going to be arriving in Stillwell within the next 5 minutes or so. Evansville at 5:54 a.m., Odell at 6:01 a.m., Floss at 6:05, and then Lee Creek at 6:09, and 86 Church at 6:11 a.m. So if you live near any of those locations, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. We always talk about this all the time, too, when we have tornado warnings that are issued. We always talk about that DUCK acronym: downstairs, under something, center of the house, and keep away from windows. One thing I always like to add when we talk about this, when we're talking about under something, we're typically talking about, getting under a roof, obviously, but also wearing something such as a bicycle helmet, or maybe putting a mattress over your head, just anything to protect the most vital parts of your body. But Dan Scoff is here right now, and Dan, still watching the storm very closely here in Northeast Oklahoma.
Yeah, Josh, first of all, thanks so much for covering these storms. In the morning, we had to deal with lightning that struck our house.
Yes, directly.
Yeah, it was intense. And that's another thing, too. These are going to be highly electrified storms, multiple thunderstorms, and also the flash flooding. I'm telling you, the runoff was so bad. But, of course, we're tracking this tornado. He's been in here all morning. He's been tracking these storms, doing an amazing job. Let's get to it and show you Mega Doppler. And first of all, let's go ahead and we'll do to Weather 2. So we'll do live radar winds. You've been mentioning about the different sources of radar and looking at the different rotations. So this is what we're going to do. The circulation is approaching just to the southwest of Stillwell, moving east-southeast. There you see the tornado warning. It is not a confirmed tornado. Like you were mentioning earlier, the different types of polygons that we show. And the reason that we do that is so we can differentiate between the more serious tornadoes, which are confirmed, or just radar indicated. Now, radar indicated still means you need to be taking your safe place and getting to your safe place. But let's take a look here at the radar this is from Tulsa, INX, and there you see the circulation showing up. Very strong circulation, and be looking for that PTDS, that debris signature and the debris detection, new severe thunderstorm warnings. This weather is relentless, I'll tell you. It is absolutely relentless. So we have a flood in our backyard. I know many others probably have floods. There's gravel all over the place. There were branches on some of the low water crossings, and so not only are we dealing with tornado potential near Stillwell, we're also dealing with extremely heavy rain and thunderstorms and a lot of lightning, highly electrified storms. Speaking of that lightning, we'll do a track on this, Josh. I want to show you another radar here. This just gives you an idea how high this rotation is. This is from Springfield. So the radar in Springfield is also showing that circulation. What we mean by that, you can see the outbound winds in red. Green is the inbound winds. There's your circulation to the southwest of Stillwell. And then you've been looking at the SRX. Very, very intense circulation. we're seeing that strong rear flank downdraft that's occurring. And if we look at the radar from the Fort Smith area, there's that little reflectivity nub. So here's the latest information until 6:15, tornado warning, radar indicated. Hail is not as much of a concern with these storms, also some strong winds as well. In fact, look at that. You got a severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible. And not only that, you've got considerable 70 miles per hour winds. Man, these storms are just crazy. Now, in Northwest Arkansas, we've got that flash flood warning, and this is every bit needed. Goes until 6:30. You look to the north, there's some strong thunderstorms, but Bentonville and the Bella Vista and the Rogers area did not see as much rainfall. And we work our way south, and you got another flash flood warning in Madison County. But this is the storm that we're watching. Josh, let's put a track on this. I know you've got that. In the meantime, before we do that, I'm going to bring up our Lincoln WeatherBug Network camera, trying to get a view of that base. I can tell you there is a very low cloud base off in the distance, and you can see it just off the screen on the right-hand side. Now we're looking at towards the south-southwest, trying to get a view, and you're a very well-seasoned storm chaser. You can see that on the right side of the screen off on the horizon. That is an extremely low cloud base.
Extremely low, and it's interesting, Dan, this morning, I've been covering these storms, and we've had a tremendous amount of energy pushed to the area. You would think the instability would be sapped at this point, but not really the case right now. We still have plenty of fuel for these showers and storms to maintain their strength. And like you said, that is a really low base.
Yeah, look at that on the right side. Yes. I'll be watching power flashes, but let's do this. Let's go to that track. We want to let people know where this is headed. So on Weather One, Jacob, and bring up Josh.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're taking a look at this newest track, right, for this tornado warned storm that's moving through Adair County, going to be moving through southern Washington and northern Crawford County. 5:41 a.m. around Zion. So it's right on top of you right now in Zion. You need to be in your tornado safe place right now. A little bit farther down the line as it moves into Washington County, Evansville. I mentioned your area earlier just a few moments ago. 5:52 a.m. You've got about 5 to 10 minutes before this area of rotation moves right over your home. So you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. Remember that acronym, duck, downstairs, under something, keep away from windows, and cover yourself. You always got to make sure you're staying weather aware. And then, of course, as we look a little bit farther down the line, Odell, 5:59 a.m., Floss at 6:04 a.m., Devil's Den State Park at 6:13 a.m., Banyard at 6:17, 6:20 near the Winslow area, and 6:23 near Winslow High School. So this storm's going to continue to track off to the east-southeast at about 40 miles per hour. And as I've been mentioning throughout the morning hours, a lot of times with these QLCS-type setups, these tornadoes can be very quick. It's very hard to find them on radar. They can do some damage, and then they lift again, and you barely even see it at that point. So you need to be taking this warning very seriously. If you see any of your towns or near any of these towns on this tornado-warned storm, you need to be taking shelter right now. But Dan, still watching this storm very closely on Mega Doppler. I'm actually right now on Tulsa's radar, and I'm still watching normalized rotation. It's kind of ebbing and flowing right now. I haven't seen any correlation coefficient drops or anything from our tornado detection product, but still a pretty strong area of rotation right there.
Yeah,
with that
absolutely.
nub.
Cannot drop our attention on that. Evansville, you need to be in your tornado safe place, as Josh just mentioned. This is moving east-southeast. This is the most dangerous portion of the line. One thing I did want to do is I was kind of looking up and down the line to see if we could see anything. Here's Lincoln. So if we're looking southwest, that tornado would be located right on the leading edge of the line. So let's do this. We've got our WeatherBug Network camera in Lincoln. I want to do a 2-box, Jacob, if we can, because we want to be able to see the radar, but at the same time, we want to be able to see this storm from a visual, because it is at night or early morning, if you will, starting to see a little bit of daylight out there. But let's do that. Let's put Weather 1 and Weather 2 in a box if we can. And we are looking at our Lincoln WeatherBug Network camera when we get that. So there you get to see the radar information. You seeing power flashes?
I'm not seeing power flashes, but I see the base.
Look at that base.
Look at that base.
Very, very low base.
That's very nasty, Dan. That is a large base right there. So this could drop a strong tornado if it continues to ramp up. I'm also keeping an eye on NWS chat. They're talking about the ingredients that we have in place right now out ahead of this line. They were talking about they sampled a sounding from Fort Smith radar and said the low-level wind shear is very strong right now, and it continues to ramp up. So that favors continued areas of circulation that we'll have to watch very closely.
And so we'll update the track on this. Let's do this too. Let's do a updated track with the storm relative velocity. So there you go. You got the updated track on live Doppler radar. Odell 558. You need to be watching exactly where that's at. There's the circulation, and that is an extremely low ragged cloud base. If there is a tornado within that about to touch down, that's where it would be in that very enhanced lowering off in the distance. So look, thankfully we have a lot of backlighting. I mean, these storms are highly electrified. Let me tell you something. At 3:08 and 25 seconds, we had the explosion of my life. I've never heard lightning as loud with the thunder, and that thunder was an explosion. It turns out, looks like it struck our house, and it was a pretty strong lightning bolt. The reason I'm telling you that is because with the amount of lightning that's out there, we're able to see these storms, and the backlighting is pretty favorable. You can start to see the rear flank downdraft kicking in as well. So let's bring up real quick. We got the track on there. Go through those town names too, because sometimes on streaming devices, those numbers can be really small.
Yeah, absolutely. We were just talking about Evansville, Dan. This area of rotation is about to be right over Evansville. So 5:51 a.m. in and around the Evansville area. If you haven't done it already, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. This area of rotation is going to be tracking right over our area. I also want to mention State Highway 59 as well. This is going to be moving right along the Arkansas-Oklahoma border, right along State Highway 59 and State Highway 45, as well as Vineyard Road. So
hey, Josh,
near those locations.
Let's bring up that camera here.
Yes.
I think I'm seeing something right in the middle. It could be scud clouds, but it has a cone shape. Let's go to our WeatherBug Network camera in Lincoln.
Yeah.
Right off in the middle of the screen. You can see it. It's right here. That looks almost like something like a tornado. And what's wild is this is the rear flank downdraft that's starting to surge out. That looks very suspicious, folks. Just take your tornado precautions, everyone. This is a dangerous storm. That does look like a potential touchdown.
You want me to zoom in on that?
Yeah, let's go ahead and we'll zoom in on that. Yes. Okay, so we'll tilt down just a little bit. And sometimes the terrain, in this area, it can look like it's totally on the ground, but essentially, that's
definitely a base.
That is definitely a base of a thunderstorm, maybe a cone. But if there's power flashes underneath it, then we know there's a tornado on the ground. But that's a very intense storm. And that's what it looks like when there is a tornado. Very similar to that. New severe thunderstorm warning just getting issued for this line. And look at the amount of motion. Yeah, see there you can see it kind of falling apart again.
We see that a lot of times when these storms cycle. They ebb and flow. And that's the type of setup we've got right now. This is, once again, very similar to yesterday. It's a line of showers and storms pushing through the area, that kill CS type setup, as you mentioned, Dan. This time, though, a little bit more visible, thankfully, with these storms this morning.
I'm turning the camera just a little bit. There is a little bit of a delay sometimes, but we're going to start to lose that visibility of that as it moves over those mountaintops. All right, so going back to the radar, we'll show you where this is at, and then we will do a reset again to show you all the areas that are impacted, because we know there's a lot of thunder out there. Believe me, I know. And you're probably wondering what's going on. Oh, look at the camera again on Lincoln.
Yeah, I'm looking
this
at that.
might be something right there that's touching down on the right-hand side. See, all of these at night, they can look like a lot like funnels. And
look
sometimes,
how fast that's moving.
Yeah, those clouds are zipping along.
Yes. Maybe a brief touchdown there for a minute, Dan.
Possible. Let's zoom out a little bit because it's starting to move pretty quick.
Yeah.
So we'll zoom out just a smidge.
Wow,
man, that is an impressive storm.
Yes, that's moving really quickly. I can't stress this enough. If you live near the Evansville, Odell areas, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now.
Because this could put down a tornado at any second.
Absolutely.
Okay, back to the radar. Let's keep that 2 box up if we can. First of all, before we do that, we'll just give you the detailed look at the towns impacted. And then what we're going to do, I want you to zoom way in because we're going to start to get hyper local in terms of those roads. And in southwest Benton County, or southwest Washington County, northern Crawford County, we'll be able to show you that. So let's zoom way in here. Evansville, the circulation is right on top of you. And Odell, here's a look at some Dobbs Mountain Road. We know those areas.
Yep, Skylight Mountain Road. We've got Ray Road, Galloway Road, Hale Mountain Road. Let's see here, Cove Creek as well. Those areas right there, Buffalo Drive. State Highway 59. That's a good landmark right there. If you live near State Highway 59, right along the Arkansas-Oklahoma border, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. Same thing with Highway 156 as well. A little bit farther east towards Floss. This area of rotation is heading right towards you right now. Private Road Hunting Club. Let's see here. Cove Creek. Again, that particular road. And maybe a little bit farther to the east here, Tomato Road and Hall Road. So those are the closest roads right now to this area of rotation, Dan.
You know what's wild is we always talk about what's called the whale's mouth in storm chasing. And if we bring up our Lincoln WeatherBug Network camera, that is a textbook classic whale's mouth. That's going to be on Weather 2. And let's just bring that up full and look at that whale's mouth. Now, we're about to be shrouded in rain, so we're going to lose visibility of this storm as it starts to cross south of Lincoln. Look at how fast those winds are. But that lowering now is going to be associated with the circulation is to the south. See, this right here is essentially the hook. And so the hook is wrapping around. I'm sure we probably have that on reflectivity too. We haven't looked at Mega Doppler in a while. I do want to check out Mega Doppler too.
Yep, I got that pulled up.
Okay, we'll do that. I want to keep on this camera. And also too, Jacob, we also have Weather 3 as another source. Weather 3 is right now streaming that Lincoln WeatherBug Network camera. So let's go ahead and we got Mega Doppler. Go ahead and keep that storm track on there, Josh. I'm going to bring up Mega Doppler on too.
Yep, I'll get that back on here again.
Okay, sounds good. And in the meantime, here's a look at that circulation. This is a tornado-warned storm. We'll go to Weather 2 if we can real quick. And so there's the circulation still showing up. Now, Lincoln, our WeatherBug Network camera, we're looking south. And what you're looking at is the whale's mouth and the rotation wrapping around this circulation. And that's ramping up more and more. And now we've got our Cartwright WeatherBug Network camera that's going to be able to view this as it moves into the southern section of Washington County and northern Crawford County. So there's that circulation. There's the rotation. You got the reflectivity showing that what we call reflectivity nub. And so these storms are still very, very much prone to putting down a tornado shortly. Yeah, Lincoln is done. That's going to be the end of it. We won't be able to see. And what I mean by done is our visibility. We won't be able to see that anymore.
Yeah, it becomes a challenge. I mean, I guess we could keep an eye on those iDrive Arkansas cameras as well. Well, this will be heading towards Interstate 49, Dan.
Yep.
Right through the Boston Mountains and right towards the Winslow area. So we'll eventually get maybe a view off of those too. But it is a bit of a challenge when it gets into the Boston Mountains to see these storms. Thankfully, though, the contrast is a little bit better right now, so we're able to see things just a little bit more.
I'm going to move the camera Mountainburg, make sure it's located in the right location because we do have it running, and it is going to be able to see this storm potentially.
This is a bit of a Hail Mary right now, Dan, but I wanted to mention this. It's summertime. It's the weekend. A lot of folks are outside. Devil's Den State Park is right in the path of this storm.
Yeah.
If you see this or you know somebody who is out there at Devil's Den State Park, you need to tell them to take cover right now. They don't need to be out there in this storm. I know it's very rural out there. It's hard to find areas, but they need to get out of Devil's Den State Park. It's going to be moving towards that area within the next, I would say, 15 minutes.
Well, there were so many people that I knew that were camping this weekend. And many people that wanted to do camping.
Yes, it's not a good idea this weekend at all. But if you know anybody who's out there right now, let them know that there's a tornado warning in effect. There's a strong area of rotation. I mean, this area of rotation right now is lining right up with Devil's Den State Park. And according to our storm track, it'll be arriving in Devil's Den within the next 15 minutes or so. So
you can see that base off of it's very slow to adjust. But that is the base of the thunderstorm and that circulation. So Devil's Den, take your tornado precautions. What do you do when you're out in the middle of nowhere? Well, hopefully they have a safe place in Devil's Den. If they don't, My advice is to get into an interior room, get as low as you possibly can, put as many walls in between you and the outside as possible, and stay away from windows.
It's better than being out there in the elements and
Yeah.
being in your tent.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And it's really early in the morning, so people might still be sleeping right now too.
And they might not be able to get a signal or Wi-Fi, but we are streaming this on knwa.com, also on Facebook, X, YouTube.
Yep. 479 first.
Minus all the trolls that are commenting on there. So sometimes that happens.
You have a lot of that sometimes.
But we got a serious situation, and that's why we're providing this information right now, as you'll see here. So southwest sections of looks like Washington County. There's the base right there with the storm. So let's do another track. We'll do weather 1. We'll bring that up full. I'll adjust this camera here shortly. Jacob doing a great job. Jacob's our director, and thanks to him coming in as well early this morning.
Yeah, so I've adjusted that track just a little bit here so we can take a look at some of those new areas. So Floss, we've been mentioning Floss a couple times this morning, Dan. 6 o'clock a.m. That's within the next 4 minutes. This area of rotation is pretty much almost right on top of you right now if you live in the Floss area. So you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. You're probably encountering really strong winds. Devil's Den State Park within the next 5 to 10 minutes or so. Again, we've been mentioning that all morning long. Make sure if you've got signal out there, if you can see us, find a way to get into a tornado safe place right now. Banyard at 6:13 a.m. A little bit farther down the line, Winslow at 6:19 a.m. That's on the far eastern fringes of this tornado warning. Sunset at 6:29 a.m. We've got Mountain Crest at 6:39 and Cass at 6:46. That's a little bit farther down the line.
Bring up that WeatherBug Network camera from Cartwright and look at this off in the distance. So we're looking basically west-northwest, right towards it, weather 2. You can see the base of the thunderstorm. This is very slow moving, by the way, on the internet connection, obviously. What I mean by slow moving is you see the way it's kind of updating, but look at that on the right-hand side of your screen. You can see that little bit of a lowering. It's not quite touching the ground. And here's the problem, too. When you're dealing with the terrain of the Ozark Mountains, you get these little vapor wisps that come off the trees that can look a lot like a tornado touching down or a funnel. There's so many struggles and complications when we're talking about tracking storms and tornadoes, but that would be your area if there is a tornado on the ground. And look, you're starting to see that inflow racing into the center of that circulation. So that's something that definitely, gives us a red flag in terms of tornado potential.
Hey, I just wanted to mention this real quick, Dan. I'm looking at the Facebook comments. There's a lot of folks that are kind of frustrated about not hearing things about Benton County. If you're in Benton County right now, you're having heavy rain and you're having thunderstorm activity, but there's no severe weather potential right now north of Fayetteville.
Okay, so let's do that real quick. Let's do a reset. That's a good reminder as we're focused on that. But the reason we're focused on it, we want to see if there's a tornado touching down, because radar is great and it's an amazing tool, but it doesn't tell you what's happening underneath the storm because the radar beam is quite high up. So there's not even any severe thunderstorm warnings, but there's heavy rain. And I know that can be serious because that can cause excessive runoff and flooding. But this is what you're looking at here from Rogers and from Bentonville and Pea Ridge and Rocky Branch. You just have to understand we're watching all of these storms. And we know that when a storm is serious, we're going to focus on that because that's the most dangerous. Doesn't mean that not all storms are dangerous. And this is providing some really heavy rain, but this is not severe, which is why we're not focused on it. But I get it. I definitely know you want to get a wide view as to what's happening here at 6 a.m. So Seligman, Chano Lakes, Shell Knob, Cassville, thunderstorms, and a lot of lightning too. You got heavier rain that's on the southeast side of Rogers, not tornado potential. Don't worry about anything there. There's not even severe potential on that. A lot of lightning right now, but there is a flash flood warning that's been extended, by the way. That makes sense, perfect sense, believe me. That goes until 8 a.m. That does include Fayetteville, Siloam Springs, Springdale with this line coming through. There's no tornado potential on the leading edge of that. We'll take a look at the velocity here in just a bit. Notice some rain and thunderstorms near Huntsville. Everything's really quiet in the River Valley, but we are watching several areas that could prompt new tornado warnings if those circulations start to ramp up. But it has to be on the line running north and south. This is probably getting close to cold pool dominant, which means that you won't see as much tornado potential. But looks like we lost that Cartwright camera too. I'm not surprised about that. sometimes
it's tough.
The signal's pretty tough. There's considerable with that severe thunderstorm warning. Let me go ahead and take all the warnings off of there real fast in terms of the text and the information. So this is what we're focused on right in here. That's moving through southern Washington County, northern Crawford County line. There might be some people traveling. I know several were saying we're leaving. We're going on I-49 south and going into the Dallas area. This is a problem because this is going to be crossing I-49. And we'll be able to get some iDrive Arkansas cameras up, and that's exactly what Josh is doing right now. So let's take a look here at the velocity, and then we're going to do another storm track on this. So here is the reflectivity, severe thunderstorm warning until 6:30. That's considerable. The tornado warning goes until 6:15. I wouldn't be surprised if this gets extended even more. Let's look at the velocity signature, and there you see that rotation that's showing up. We had a visual confirmation of an extremely low ragged cloud base. So where is this all headed? Well, let's zoom in here. There's Devil's Den State Park. New information is going to be coming here shortly. We'll take a look at the radar from Tulsa, and this is the reflectivity and velocity image from, and you can see the amount of winds that are moving away from the radar and towards the radar, and there is your circulation. And this could drop down in any second, so be aware of that. Devil's Den State Park, you can see it on your screen. Strickler Road, just to the south of Strickler is where that circulation is. This is going towards Banyard, and you can see Bunyard too for road. You got Bunyard Road, Banyard, then you got Woods Road, Old Cabin, Hidden Valley Road. So those are some of the areas that are impacted. I can hear the heavy rain coming down in Fayetteville right now.
There's a lot of people out on the interstate right now, Dan.
I know.
In the Boston Mountains.
Yep.
The
best camera that we have will be Bobby Hopper Tunnel,
yeah.
But that's going to be pointing south, and this storm is passing the Bobby Hopper Tunnel to the north. But it'll be close, so we'll watch that very closely. So there's the circulation. We'll look at the radar from SRX, which is Fort Smith. And there's your circulation. Rapid winds moving towards the radar, away there. That's why that prompted a tornado warning. We go back in time, you can see the circulation very, very evident. So it's persistent too. And if we look at the shear tracks, you'll be able to see how this storm has been persistently rotating ever since southwest of Tahlequah when that tornado warning was initially issued. And there's a lot of people that are dealing with things. I've been dealing with things this morning with a flooded backyard. We've got not only that, we've got lightning that struck our house, some electrical appliances not working. And I know some of you in Southeast Fayetteville, about 3:08, man, that lightning bolts just blew us out of bed, basically. You can see that energy. But Josh was already here, and we had that plan. He was here covering these storms. I was going to assist. I had to get a little bit of sleep because I'm about to do a pig trail mud run if the weather cooperates, Josh. So
yeah, hopefully these storms move out by then.
Okay, let's do a track here. We've been talking a lot about the shear tracks and some of the other things and the impacts, but we want to let people know where this is headed. But we did do a wide view. If you missed it earlier, this is the only storm of concern right now. It's because it's right along the balanced edge of the line. And Josh, where is this headed right now?
So let's go back to weather one here, and we can take a look at that new storm track that we've got on the storm now. We've been mentioning Devil's Den State Park. It is right on top of Devil's Den. The area of rotation is going to be moving right over Devil's Den State Park. So this is getting very close to Interstate 49. So we're going to be watching that very, very closely near Winslow at around 6:17 a.m., Banyard at 6:11, Winfrey at 6:20 a.m., Sunset at 6:27, Bidville at 6:30, Combs at 6:42, and St. Paul at 6:48. So that's going to be moving into Madison County eventually. But if you live along Interstate 49, especially just off to the west of Winslow, I think this area of rotation is going to be moving right over Winslow, Dan. Looking at the latest track, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. We always talk about that acronym. I wanted to pull that up real quick once again, Dan, just to let people know about that. Again, it's downstairs, under something, center of the house, keep away from windows. As I always mention every time I pull up this acronym, under something, we just mean put a bicycle helmet over your head, put something over your head. That way you can protect yourself from flying debris in case there is a tornado. But if you live near Devil's Den State Park, Interstate 49, Winslow, Brentwood, just off to the southwest of Sunset and Hazel Valley, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now.
Yeah, I'm just kind of monitoring comments, looking at things behind the scenes. It looks like maybe the circulation's starting to weaken a little bit, and that would be wonderful. Maybe because it's tapped into all the instability from earlier. We're still watching this closely, though, and a lot right along the leading edge. Let's look at all these circulations. So we got one now that's just a little south of Greenland. This is more of what we call, a boundary zone, if you will, a shear zone, where you got the whole area, the large area that has rotation along it. But this is kind of like an elongated thing, not necessarily the tornado potential. But man, the wind is coming down, the rain is coming down. Let's look at the reflectivity on Mega Doppler. And yeah, that is some extremely heavy rain again.
It's just unbelievable. It just doesn't stop, Dan.
No.
And that's why the flooding potential is so high, too. You know, you got a flash flood warning in effect for Washington and Benton County. That goes until 6:30. That's probably going to get extended right now, if I were to guess, based on what we're seeing at this time.
Yeah.
And then we got another flash flood warning in effect for Madison and Carroll County. That goes until 8 a.m., and that's probably going to be extended as well. So not only are we dealing with severe weather, we're also dealing with flash flooding.
Yeah, let's pan up a little bit on this, and you can see the heavy rain that's coming down in the Fayetteville area. There's your circulation associated with the storm. We do have these triangles that you see upside down. Those are called tornado vortex signatures. Stands for TVS is what we abbreviate it for short. But sometimes they can be like what we call false trips, meaning the radar detects something and it shows up once and then it disappears. Let's look at the velocity signatures. We have that shear zone right there where all of that it could prompt new tornado potential. At the moment, it's just kind of like a shear boundary as it moves through. So what we mean by that is an elongated area of a wind shift. There's a look at that southwest of Winslow as that circulation comes in. But Josh, I want you to go back in time just a little bit, and I'll show you how this storm appears to be gusting out a little bit. Now, that is a true tornado vortex signature. You can see those bright reds and even some blues that are showing up. That's a really strong circulation. And then that, as it moves eastward, you can now see it's becoming what we call outflow dominant, not quite as strong. And remember, we had a lot of storms throughout the morning before this line came through at 6:07 right now. So we'll watch this. We'll continue to keep an eye on this. But several areas that could prompt new circulations.
And this is also the Fort Smith radar too, Dan.
Yeah.
So of course the radar beam is parallel to these storms as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is where the challenge comes into play, especially with these QLCS type setups, especially along Interstate 49. Unfortunately, Interstate 49, you know, it's really far away from Tulsa. There's also a lot of rain that's shrouding maybe the view of that area of rotation now. If you look at the Tulsa radar. And then, of course, you look at the Fort Smith radar, and it's a little bit closer. But because I-49 is parallel to that radar beam, Dan, you're not getting the best velocity image either. So this is why you have to watch these storms very closely. I will say this. We know this storm is still rotating. We know it could still prompt tornado potential because of the reflectivity. You can see that kind of a nub right there southwest of Winslow.
Yeah.
That's where that area of rotation is going to be. So obviously it's still rotating, but it might be weakening just a little bit.
And sometimes you can see these surges right here too.
Mm-hmm.
That might be all that it takes. The descending reflectivity core points right where the circulation is. And sometimes that could be the extra oomph, if you will, to give it tornado potential. I want to show you this. We got a bad velocity signature, bad velocity scan. Okay, new tornado warning. This will probably be an extension to this. So we'll continue to track this storm as it makes its way eastward. That is our weather radio that you're hearing in the background. And so this is a continuation of this tornado warning. Go to weather 2 if we can, real quick. So we're on weather 1 on Mega Doppler. Here's weather 2, 6:30 Saturday. That's how long that tornado warning goes for. Let's tell you some of the areas that are going to be impacted. Winslow, Chris Williams in the Winslow area. You are right in the path of that tornado warning. He's right on 74 northwest of Winslow. Artist Point, wind-free. There's that circulation moving right along the Washington-Crawford County line. What about that iDrive Arkansas camera?
I'm pulling that up right now, Dan.
Okay.
Yep. So stand by here. We're going to have that pulled up here on. Let's go ahead and go to weather 1 right now. Let's pull it up right now. I've got it. pulled up with the radar image.
Yeah,
and
that's
there
beautiful.
It is. Yep, and that's the Bobby Hopper Tunnel camera. Look at that. We got people on the side of the road right now that they're getting hit by blinding rain and wind in the Boston Mountains. That is a really dangerous situation right there.
That is no visibility.
Yes.
Look at that. Normally you can see the road. This is looking southbound, so it's actually not looking at the part of the circulation because the Bobby Hopper Tunnel is just a little bit south, I do believe, of Crawford County line.
I think it is too. Yes, sir. You would be correct on that. Unfortunately, the other iDrive Arkansas cameras in this particular location are down, just completely down. This is the only camera that's up in this area.
That is some blinding rain. So if you are leaving this morning, I would consider just waiting a little bit till this line comes through because, I mean, that's someone that's just stopped on the side of the road. I don't even think they're driving.
That's a very dangerous situation.
And those are some torrential rains. Not only that, but hydroplaning. You know about that from experience, Josh. That can happen very, very quickly if you're traveling. That is an RDOT camera, and that is located looking south from our from the Bobby Hopper Tunnel. Essentially, it's right on top of that mountain.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, again, the one concern that I have too, Dan, as this rain moves through some of the higher terrain of Northwest Arkansas as well, so we're getting a little bit farther east towards Madison County, is those are some very flood-prone areas. So we are going to start seeing more significant heavy rainfall this morning. A lot of times that runoff comes down the mountains, and these low-lying areas in Madison, Carroll County, those areas, they typically do see a lot of flooding. So we're going to have to watch that very closely as these storms race off to the east right now. Still seeing that surge right there, Dan. And at the very least, if there's no tornado on the ground, we know that there's very strong winds associated with the storm, which is why we also have that severe thunderstorm warning with a considerable tag attached to it for 70-mile-per-hour winds. This does include southern Washington County as well, just south of Fayetteville. So you're probably going to experience some strong winds near Elkins and Durham and Brentwood, even though you're away from this circulation, which is moving just off to the southeast of Winslow now, you're still going to experience strong winds. Very similar story for locations like Chester or Mountainburg. Now, as Dan mentioned earlier, what we're seeing on the southern part of the line, which I'm showing you right here, maybe more of a cold pool dominant aspect to these storms. So that means the tornado potential is lower, and that also means the storms have a tendency to get a little bit weaker. So if you live near Cedarville, the Rudy area, Van Buren, Fort Smith, we're still keeping a close eye on these storms for you in those locations. But it does look like things might be weakening just a little bit there. But it looks like a new severe thunderstorm warning.
With a tornado possible, too.
Yes, and that is in LaFleur County, Dan.
Yeah.
So there it is right there. You can see that. That's severe thunderstorm warning goes until 7 a.m., 60-mile-per-hour winds. And again, it has a tornado possible tag attached to it. And there's actually a tornado warning that's in effect, Dan, just off to the west of McCurtain right now. So it's that same storm that's pushing off to the east. So they're going ahead and warning it out in advance. So we'll watch that very closely for LaFleur County. That's a little bit more line normal, I would say, in terms of that storm there in LaFleur County.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll watch that a little bit later on down the line.
Yeah, so a few areas of shear showing up, but it looks like, that storm is starting to gust out a little bit, even though they continue the tornado warning, which is understandably so, because this is a dangerous storm, and it could ramp up circulation very, very quickly. Cartwright came back. Kisser camera's back, but you can't see anything. It's totally shrouded in rain. That's the issue. When you deal with these cameras, you have the visibility for a short while, and then all of a sudden the rain comes in and it's gone. That's why it's so difficult to chase these types of events too. Let's go to our Miss Laura's historic site. So we've got this camera that's not shrouded in the rain, but it will be soon. So weather 2, we'll bring that up full so I can adjust this. And we're going to move this here just a little bit. And we'll point it right now. It's looking more south east. And so you can kind of see the way the clouds are a little darker on the right-hand side of the screen. So if we go ahead and position this as it loads up, everything's really slow to load. And the cameras are really slowed as well. Of course, we have a lot of these recording because we don't want to miss anything. So we will look in a west view, and you'll see the camera spin around here shortly just to get a view.
And, of course, earlier this morning, these cameras got quite the lightning show as well. So you're going to see some incredible time lapses.
I've got a lot to go through, that's for sure.
Yes.
So Yeah, it's not moving. So let's go back to the radar, and I'll wait till this moves so we can,
we can
try to get a visual on this line.
Yeah, so there it is right there, folks. What you're seeing is reflectivity on the left, velocity on the right. If you are near Devil's Den State Park, you're getting very heavy rainfall, but the area of rotation has passed you to your east. It's also moved east of I-49. Very strong winds, though, moving right through Winslow and Brentwood and Chester. A little bit farther to the east, we can get even more local. Sunset, you're about to experience some very strong winds, and you are in a tornado warning. That goes until 6:30 a.m., so you need to be in your tornado-safe place as well if you live in the Sunset area. A little bit farther to the east, we've got Health and Patrick, Mountain Crest, Combs, Brash Ears, St. Paul as we get into Madison County. So we're looking a little bit farther down the line here in terms of where exactly this area of rotation will be. We still have that descending reflectivity core right now, Dan, which means we can't keep our eyes off of this storm, even though it's very difficult to see things on velocity. This could still drop a tornado at any time.
Guess what? We have a new, the camera's spun around, meaning now the presets are wrong. But let's take a look here at Miss Laura's historic site, because we've got that camera up, and a lot of information going on. So you're going to see this move here. It says it's pointed southwest, but it's not. Yeah, you'll see the base here in just a second as it moves in. Very dark, very strong storm coming into the river valley. No tornado on this, at least as of now. That could change as we go throughout the rest of the morning. But once that line comes through, that's going to be it. Man, that is some torrential rain.
That's unbelievable. I would not want to be out there on that.
Do we still have that 2 box? Let's do that. So that's weather 3. I'll bring that up right here.
That's actually
weather 2.
Weather 2, yes,
yeah.
There you go.
Man.
That's insane.
Yeah,
you don't want to be out there.
I can't even see the cars.
Yeah, it's impossible to drive in those conditions. I hope we don't get any accident reports this morning. I know a lot of folks might be heading up from southern Arkansas, maybe to Baumwalker Stadium this morning. You know, the Super Regionals going on. We got a lot of things going on in Northwest Arkansas.
Which, by the way, the weather should be good this afternoon.
It will
Storms are moving out, and you know, it doesn't even look like a whole lot of lightning for that Pig Trail mud run that's happening here within less than an hour. So
I think so.
A lot of people wondering about that as well. But a lot of storms, continuing to watch them. Tornado warning does go for until 6:45, I do believe.
6:30.
6:30? Okay, so a short fuse warning. That makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. And I think also because we're starting to move towards the Little Rock area as well, because that's why the polygon stops. So you may be wondering why that polygon stops.
You still have Franklin and Madison County, though. That's in the Tulsa coverage area.
Yes.
So, yeah, that they just wanted to include northeastern Crawford, southeastern Washington County in that tornado warning. Let's look at the circulation, see if there's any type of see, it's more of an elongated. It's not as tight. It's not as compact. So that means it's not spinning as fast,
which is great.
But get ready for strong thunderstorms. You know, we probably have more people that are wondering what's going on across the area. So let's do another reset real quick, Josh.
Yeah, absolutely.
And show you that the rain is about to come to an end in Bella Vista. I hope this is the last of it. It just seems to be more and more energy. There's a look at Eureka Springs. Thunderstorms. The heavy rain is pushing out of Fayetteville. Thank goodness. You got a heavy rain that's moving out of northern and central Madison County. Then you got storms that are in southern Washington County. Yeah, severe thunderstorm warnings in southern Madison County. So these are the most dangerous storms right here. This is the most dangerous area of that line, and it still has that tornado potential. We work our way south. The River Valley, yes, definitely noisy. It'll get a little gusty. There's no doubt about that. You got severe thunderstorm warnings, and we'll go through all the timing in just a bit. Muldrow, Spiro, seeing some thunderstorms about to move in. Poto's been pretty quiet, but that's about to change. Worcester, Wolf Mountain, more rain coming in. And you can see that area right there with a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag, along with a tornado warning near Wilburton. So, my goodness, that's all of the radar information for our area, wide view, just to let you know. Now we'll go through all the individual warnings, including the severe thunderstorm warnings and the flash flood warning. So let's start off with this right here. We'll go with the flash flood warning and the severe thunderstorm warning till 8 o'clock. Severe thunderstorm warning for another 11 minutes. That's a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. Then you got a new warning that's been issued, and this includes, as you can see, Crawford, Franklin, Madison, and Washington County out of the National Weather Service out of Tulsa, 70 miles per hour winds, hail size about nickels, and that goes until 7 o'clock. Then we got the tornado warning, as you see here. This goes until 6:30, as Josh just mentioned. We're watching that circulation closely. We'll do another track on that. We'll definitely need to be doing that here. 7 a.m., severe thunderstorm warning. That includes Crawford, Franklin, Madison, Washington County. And then we work our way south on this one. This is a severe thunderstorm warning until 6:30. Tornado possible also with that circulation. So we'll watch that in the River Valley. And then you got severe thunderstorm warning, no tornado possible with this. This is more what we call outflow dominant, cold pool dominant. But there you see 60 miles per hour winds. And then finally, western LaFleur County until 7 o'clock in the morning, tornado possible. And that's all of the warnings. Let's go back to that tornado warning and focus on that, Josh.
Yes.
And let's do another track.
Yep, got that pulled up right now on Weather One. So we could pull that up here. And there's that new track right there, Dan. We're taking the storm off to the east-southeast right around 6:21, Miller's Chapel, 6:28, Temple Hill Church. 6:29 a.m. in Bidville. We've been talking about health a little bit this morning. 6:31 there. 6:36 in Mountain Crest. 6:42 Cherry Bend Recreation Area. It's another location where people may be camping out or maybe don't have a way to receive warnings. Just make sure everybody's okay there if you know somebody that's camping out there. 6:47 in West Cobb. 6:50 in Beech Grove. 6:53 in the Peanut area as well. So that's a little bit farther down the line. But this tornado warning goes until 6:30 a.m. Looking at the latest velocity image right now, you can actually see that there on live Doppler radar. It's very elongated right now. It's pretty broad, pretty weak rotation at this time, but still have that descending reflectivity core. If we go here to reflectivity, you can see that right there on live Doppler radar, that little nub right there. That's what we're talking about when we mean that descending reflectivity core. This is where that tornado potential is a little bit more maximized if that storm is rotating. But Dan, new tornado warning just got issued.
Yeah.
So I'm clicking on that right now, and we're going to take a look at it.
Just to let you know, too, I stand corrected. The Bobby Hopper Tunnel is just barely north of the Washington County line. I thought it was in southern, very northern sections of Crawford County, but it's like just barely in southern Washington County. Either way, it's very close to the county line.
And it's a good landmark to divide Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
I mean, I believe that. You're driving south, you all of a sudden experience amazing weather, and then you drive in the wintertime, then you have all the clouds and the cold. And so there's the new tornado warning that is for LaFleur County.
That's that storm we were talking about.
Yep. And there's a kind of a cluster of storms here. This environment. It's unbelievable.
It's interesting. I mean, it shows how much energy we have to work with because, I mean, you think about it, what you learn about is, the more storms there are, the less instability there is, the less fuel there is for shower and storm development. And yet there's so much energy, so much wind shear in our area right now.
And moisture, too.
Oh, my goodness.
The instability just refuels itself.
The Lincoln camera was unbelievable early this morning. I mean, the storms weren't severe, but you could see all that low-level moisture just streaming, and it was unbelievable.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
The low-level moisture. I think we're done with the rain. We can cut it off. The mud run's going to be really interesting. That's all I can say. The mud swim.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so tornado warning, that it does include extreme western LaFleur County.
It does, yeah.
And it just barely clips it. There's also a circulation south of Kinta, too, that we're looking at. By the way, remember the Bobby Hopper Tunnel camera, the RDOT camera?
Yep.
It's gone.
So now all the cameras there are down.
It's
in
out.
the Boston Mountains.
It's out.
Yes.
I think we're about to wave the white flag here.
I think so, too. I think these graphics want to wave the white flag.
Just like the cartoons where they're waving the white flag.
Looney
It's like,
Tunes.
okay, we're done. We're done.
Yes.
You got us, nature. We're getting pounded.
Yes, absolutely.
In terms of like a punching bag that goes down and comes back up. It's like eventually that punching bag with the sand bottom, doesn't come back.
It doesn't come back up. Yeah.
But we'll still go, but we're still tracking these storms. So,
yes.
All right, 2 tornado warnings that are in our weather coverage area. One that is, the reason we're not hyper focused on this, it's a little outside of our weather coverage area, even though the warning does officially clip western Leflore County.
Yes, just want to give a heads up on that front and give a heads up, maybe on this another area of rotation that's going on, Dan.
There's going to be a lot of them.
Because there could be another tornado warning that gets issued there too. But if we go back up to the northeast, no more tornado warning on that storm.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Yep. That's good news. Let's go to Weather 1 if we can. We'll go to Weather 1 and we'll look at Mega Doppler.
Yep.
Severe thunderstorm warning, considerable tag. But, yeah, the circulation's gone.
Yeah, it's gusted out like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see the evolution of that. And it was much stronger, though, when it was moving through Adair County. Look at that.
Yeah, they're still well.
Yes. This is an old radar image, but you can see there how that velocity was cranking up there. And then even a little bit farther west, that's when it dropped that tornado right there near Tinkiller.
Yeah, I saw that it was a debris signature, the TDS, that was showing up. So confirmed, radar confirmed. Didn't last very long, but it was there, that little debris signature. So back to real-time radar as we go all the way to the east. And, I have to mention this. We have so much rain, even a little bit of wind can knock down some big trees because the root balls, if they're fairly shallow, they can get tipped over. They can get knocked over. So be aware of that. Even some little bit of small hail now in northeastern Washington County. But let's look at the reflectivity, Josh. The velocity doesn't really tell us much except how strong the winds are. Madison County about to see that thunderstorm activity. Huntsville, our WeatherBug Network camera looking west from Huntsville. We'll see what that looks like here. There you can see. Is it starting to get daytime?
Yes, sir. I mean, it's 6:30.
Oh, my goodness.
KNWA today still going on.
All right. So there's a look at the base of this thunderstorm. Notice how it's not as sharp and defined as it was when it was to the south of Lincoln. That was an impressive base of the thunderstorm as that moved through.
That looks a little disorganized at this point. That's a visual representation of a disorganized weakening thunderstorm.
Visual clues can really help you, and that's why the storm spotter training classes are so beneficial and so vital if you are interested in severe weather and storms, to learn about storm structure. Visual clues in terms of intensity of storms, it's definitely there. So that's why we do that. And
Absolutely.
And that's why we look at these cameras too, because they can tell us visually what's going on. Another thing is it is pouring right now in Fort Smith.
My goodness.
Let's look at there you see Fort Smith Public Library, occasional lightning, but that is some extremely heavy rain. You can see the rain curtains at the bottom of the screen. So no tornado potential. You can breathe a sigh of relief. Fort Smith, Van Buren, we don't have that, unlike yesterday morning.
Yeah, yesterday morning, my goodness. That was what we call a QLCS fest right there. That was like the perfect storm for QLCS tornado potential.
Yeah. And now we're getting some embedded circulations. There's just that one area that was kind of prompting that. But this is kind of disorganized. I understand Tulsa going, we're going to warn this area just because there's so many little circulations within that, and that could form and develop into something. And by the way, we are under a tornado watch. I don't know if we've ever mentioned that, or I think you have, Josh.
Yeah, I mentioned it throughout the live stream.
And it's pretty understandable why they did that. It's a good call. Tornado watch does go until officially noon. However, that is for the eastern portion of the watch. Western portion of the watch doesn't go until noon. That goes until, let's see here. Yep.
The western portion goes until 7 a.m.
Till 7 a.m.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep. And that will be expiring soon.
All right, so new warning that's been issued, and that's for east of that line.
Yep, and we can pull that up on Weather 1 right now. Here's that new severe thunderstorm warning. So there's Weather 1, and there it is. Again, it's a considerable tag attached to it, so 70-mile-per-hour winds are possible. This is going to be heading towards Madison County, and that's it. Madison County is the one including that severe thunderstorm warning. Interestingly enough, Dan, another tornado possible tag attached to that too.
I saw that.
So we're going to have to watch that very closely there in Madison County. Also want to remind folks in Madison and Carroll County there is still a flash flood warning that remains in effect until 8 a.m. So flooding rains, still a possibility there along State Highway 127 and 103. So if you live in those areas, be keeping an eye on this storm. Very strong winds, intense lightning. We've seen that all morning long. So it is coming your way right now if you live in Huntsville.
I just want to mention, too, it's 6:30, and there is a War Eagle trail run that's occurring at Hobbs State Park. So let's take a look here. They are still expecting to have that, as well as the Springdale Rotary having their Pig Trail Mud Run. Obviously, safety is a concern. But Josh, I want to kind of look at, let's go ahead.
Let's go back to Mega Doppler here, Dan.
Yeah.
There's an area of rotation that's concerning me right now near Huntsville.
Okay. All right. Let's bring up that camera. Yeah, I see that ramping up. So I just wanted to mention too that is happening. It is still on for this morning. Please tell everyone that's participating in that, you do want to go to the race because it is going to happen. Yes. It's just after these thunderstorms clear the area. And the Pig Trail Mud Run, if you're participating in that is also going to be happening. If there's lightning, they'll delay it.
Yes.
I'm emceeing it, so I'll let them know if there's lightning. And then we'll do that. But yeah, let's look at that area of circulation that's really starting to ramp up. Bring that up full on Mega Doppler. I'm going to look at our Huntsville WeatherBug Network camera, point it south, and see if we can get a view before we get shrouded in rain.
Yeah, I'm just going to step on the wall here real quick, Dan, and just point this out real quick while I do that. This is what we're watching very closely. Again, this is that new severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible tag attached to it. You can see that right there, just off to the north of Japton and south of Huntsville. This is the area right here that we're going to be watching very closely for any tornado potential. Again, right now it's very broad in nature, not very tight at all, but there's that severe thunderstorm warning. Again, it does have a tornado possible tag attached to it, which is why we're going to be watching that very, very closely there. Dan's working Mega Doppler right now. There's that velocity image once again. You can see some stronger winds starting to wrap around maybe that broad area of rotation there. This is just off to the south and west of Huntsville and north of Japton. So it's going to be moving right along the highways here in just a few moments, northwest of Witter. Very strong winds at the very least expected with this area.
Oh, yeah. You can see the base, yes. Josh. Let's go ahead, if we can. Weather 3. I want to bring up Weather 3, just straight up Weather 3. This is our Huntsville WeatherBug Network camera. That's looking straight south at that area of rotation. And look at how ragged that base is.
Wow, you can see it right there, too, just off in the distance.
Extremely ragged.
Yes, absolutely. We'll have to watch that very closely. That's starting to ramp up a little bit, Dan. I mean, at the very least, you're going to be encountering some very significant winds.
Look at how that you just can't tell if that's on the ground. This is in the plains, you're able to see underneath the clouds if it's on the ground or not. But that is extremely low right there.
It absolutely is.
New severe thunderstorm warning coming out. Also, too, you can see what appears to be a developing clear slot. So this is all the information here needed. And by the way, I'm just kind of letting you know we're controlling the camera behind the scenes. That's what these WeatherBug Network cameras, they're so vital.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Because storm chasers are amazing. And we've got an amazing storm spotting team. There's no doubt about that. But they can't be everywhere at once.
No,
and that's why we try to put up as many cameras as we can for public safety, for you to be safe, for us to know, have a situational awareness of what's occurring. That's exactly why right here, you see that circulation that's coming over Huntsville and just to the south of it. That's our WeatherBug Network camera giving us a visual until the clouds and the rain moves in, and then everything's going to be shrouded in rain.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we were just talking about this too, Dan, with this QLCS tornado potential.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. This storm was gusting out just a few moments ago, and all of a sudden, 2 minutes later, bam.
Yeah.
And we got another area that we're watching.
What's that circulation near Osage too?
Yeah.
That's something that we got to watch as well. Look at see, it's a little farther away from the radar. I'll try to look at that from Springfield. Yeah. Let's bring that up full. Let's bring up the radar full because we haven't done that in a little while. Well, we're watching that. We're keeping an eye on that storm. So let's go ahead, Jacob. Weather 1 on Mega Doppler, bringing that up full. I'm going to move the camera over just a little bit.
I mean, Huntsville right now, there's some very intense winds that's moving towards your area right now. Same deal in Alabama and Marble. That's going to be right along Highway 412. So you're going to have to watch that very closely if you live in those locations. Very similar story in Osage and Kingston, a little bit farther to the south and east towards Weathers as well. But those areas about to see, at the very least, very intense winds. But this is an area of interest right here in terms of potential rotation. You can see maybe some stronger rotation starting to show up there near Huntsville as well, just off to the north and east of Huntsville, Dan.
Wonder if your battery is dying in your microphone. Maybe.
I think so, yeah. No, my microphone's good.
Okay.
Yep.
Maybe it's the IFB. Yep, it is mine.
How's yours? Okay.
It's going out. Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
When you're on for a long time,
Yeah.
I think those things start to wear down a little bit. That's for sure. But
yeah, you can see the rain coming down in Huntsville right now. We've lost any visual, but not tornado warned, but definitely has a stronger circulation with it that could prompt a new tornado warning. Thank you so much, Jacob. Appreciate that.
clutch.
All right.
So I'm keeping a close eye on these other storms too, Dan, just to make sure we're not missing anything. For Northwest Arkansas, for Bentonville, Springdale, Fayetteville, you're done. Severe weather potential's over. The rain's going to be moving out soon. Benton and Washington County all clear. And a similar story for Crawford County too. I think a little bit farther to the south. We're starting to see that storm move out of Crawford County. Very intense rainfall in Fort Smith still, but this is just heavy rain, maybe some strong winds, but no tornado potential that I see there in Fort Smith. We still have a tornado warning in effect technically for LaFleur County, but now a new severe thunderstorm warning, Dan, with the
tornado possible tag.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm pulling that up right now.
Just basically the entire line.
Yeah.
Just like forget about it. We'll just put the whole thing under there with a tornado possible.
Pretty much, and that's what you have to do
with these types of events.
Yes.
So that means that it's not strong enough to focus on one area where it's like there's going to be tornado potential or where there's a tornado threatening, but it does tell you that it could produce a tornado sometimes as quick as before the warning gets out.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why they have these.
We found that on Easter Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a very intense day as well. And here's the deal, Dan. That's why they used to be severe thunderstorm warnings that not have tornado possible tags on them. So the National Weather Service decided to do that for events like this, where it's very, very difficult to pinpoint when exactly that storm is going to ramp up and tighten up.
Yeah.
So you put that tornado possible tag down to cover those bases.
And that's why if you look at this and we zoom out, you'll be able to see a differentiation. See how that's a little darker orange? That lets us know that that has a tornado possible. And then you can see this storm that's in Fort Smith. Well, that just has more of a lighter yellow. So this is something that we set up way ahead of time.
Yes.
Not everybody does it, but we do. So we have situational awareness. So we know which storms are the most serious as quick as we can. And that lets us know, too, when that tornado possible shows up. Maybe we got to be watching for areas of rotation.
Absolutely. Especially with a setup like this.
So let's look at a wide view here. We're going to zoom out just a little bit. I'll get in front of the wall. We're going to take off all those warnings and stuff like that. Yeah, so there's a look at the radar from Fort Smith with all the warning information off of there. There can be a lot, but there's a lot of information we got to have, in terms of the threats, the timing, the counties, just so you guys could see. But we are about to see an end to the rain in Northwest Arkansas. And that's good news because we want to get this all out of here. Man, we've had a lot. In fact, Josh, I think it'd be interesting to look at the rain amounts.
Yes, absolutely. Let me pull that up right now.
Models did a great job on that because they were showing close to 4 or 5 inches of rain. And then there it is. There it is right there. That is from the round of storms this morning. That is a tremendous amount of rain. Let's zoom in. I think we're talking 3.5 inches. Flash flood warning that's showing up.
That's been extended, by the way, for Benton and Washington County.
Until 8?
Until 8. So
no, we knew that. Yeah.
Yep.
Nothing extended farther north, but
yes,
that's where that heavy rain was. And I'm telling you, this is right through Fayetteville, and it was coming down.
That's like right over your house there, Dan. That's where the bullseye is, pretty much. I mean, that's.
I know. That's exactly why I'm making the Kermit the Frog face. Right now.
Exactly. It's just like, seriously?
Like, what does he do? He's like,
yes. But, I mean, oh, my goodness.
That's why.
Yeah.
I know. Believe me, my yard is flooded. Backyard's flooded. It's a mud pit back there.
Then we could show the lightning research, too, and show exactly where that lightning strike was.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. But that's where those flash flood warnings are in effect, right? So that's where the heaviest rain fell this morning. That's where you see, when we talk about training thunderstorms, this is what we mean right here, where you see that significant rain over many locations. And here we go, Dan, another severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible, pulling it up right now. And like you said, just pretty much across the entire line, every single county. This is starting to move into Logan, Scott, and Yale County. So this is starting to move into far eastern portions of our weather coverage area. 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-size hail possible, and a tornado also possible with that storm.
Oh, it's weird is you look and there's no storm even close to that.
I know.
It's just Little Rock is just saying forget about it.
Yeah,
we're just gonna issue because look, take off the warning information. The storm's here.
That's crazy.
It's not even on the leading edge of it yet.
Yeah, actually, what's interesting is that there's no severe thunderstorm warning. Like it's like in between, right? There's like an area in between that has no severe thunderstorm warning. Yet the storms were closer to that area. So this is what we're talking about.
And this is the reason. This is the National Weather Service out of Tulsa.
Yes.
And then this is the county jurisdiction, the county warn area out of Little Rock. And so Little Rock saying, with all of this ingredients, all the environmental conditions, we're just going to be proactive and put this out way ahead of time.
Yep. And we were talking about that earlier too.
And all of these have tornado possible. And I think they've been seeing what's been going on here in Northwest Arkansas, and they're like, we're not going to take any chances.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's that tornado warning. The storm's now just approaching southwestern Leflore County, but I don't see a super strong circulation on that. As we mentioned, it's kind of like a cluster of storms. There might be some weak embedded circulations. Overall, though, doesn't look super impressive. You see a little bit more south of Red Oak, just to the southwest of Leflore, northwest of Tallahena. That making its way across, as you see, the Ouachita Mountains. And that has a little bit of a circulation. So we'll watch that. That is a tornado warning that's still in effect. But this is the only portion of Leflore County that's included. You can see how that just barely clips Leflore County and Leflore.
Yeah.
And what's wild is Leflore doesn't have a space, but yet the county does have a space.
That is interesting, right? So that's a trivia question.
Yeah.
Man. That's a trivia question right there.
Fanshawe experiencing heavy rain, Worcester, Howe, Heavener, Poto. Get ready on some of those highways. So heavy rain is going to be coming down here pretty soon.
Some challenging highways to drive on.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Especially when the inclement conditions. So
yes.
Well, 6:42 in the morning. We're tracking storms. The tornado warnings have dropped off for the most part. We still have that one that's in western Leflore County. Once that gets dropped off, we'll be able to go off air, but we will remain streaming on our streaming service in case another warning is prompting tornado potential. We'll jump on there. But this is about to move out of our entire weather coverage area very shortly. As it approaches Boone County, Newton County. We're not going to drop off of it, but you can watch on knwa.com, Facebook, X, YouTube. Also on our, like I said, on 479 First, we have a streaming app. It's a streaming channel on Roku, Apple TV, as well as, Amazon Fire Stick. Those are the three here. But it's called 479 First. And by the way, you spell out the word first. FIRST. So 479 is in the area code because we're encompassing all of the area, Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. We're covering each thing equally. That's why it's called 479 First, as we have the whole entire viewing area to be covered by severe weather, news, breaking news, all that stuff. And also local content and local podcasts as well. That are on there.
Some great stuff.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Did a segment with Josh Panetta as we were talking about taking you further, and it was about the mud run as we're gearing up for that here pretty soon, and it's going to be muddy.
That's for sure. This is going to be a career year for the mud run, Dan.
I'm kind of interested to see what the course is going to be like.
Well, I was joking with you yesterday. I was like, one of the obstacles this year, because they have over 25 obstacles. One of the obstacles might be the lightning. It's a brand new kind of obstacle, new age obstacle.
I was dealing with that this morning, running out, trying to, drain my backyard. So
you were out there in it. I mean, it was crazy. We were on the live stream.
It was dangerous.
It was very dangerous. I was praying for you.
I know that.
Yes.
And that lightning bolt at 3:08, I think it was. Yeah, 3:08 in the morning.
And by the way, while we're on air here, I just wanted to say, Dan, happy birthday. By the way, you're here on your birthday. My goodness.
Well, thank you, Josh. Yes. I appreciate that. Yes. But we still have that tornado warning we got to cover. We got to make sure we're tracking that. Circulation that's near Weathers in Kingston. So we do have that. That's moving through. Yeah.
Tornado warning's been dropped off.
All right. Tornado warning's been dropped. So I tell you what, we will continue to monitor this line, but I think it is starting to weaken. Let's wait just a little bit because we got a little bit of a reflectivity drop. This could be prompting new tornado potential. Guess what? We got another camera that will be able to look at this looking southwest. Now, that is going to be looking towards a tower from Gaither Mountain, unfortunately, but hopefully we can get a visual on that because that might be starting to rotate a little more with that reflectivity drop. And Josh, I see you're adjusting the camera.
Yes, we're going to get on that right now.
Also, too, let's stop recording some of those other ones after you get that adjusted.
Oh boy, there is a lot of cloud coverage over our Harrison camera right now.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's just completely shrouded.
Well, point it south-southwest, and then maybe we'll get that circulation as it's coming through. So weather's Kingston, got a severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible, not a tornado warning. That is going to be moving into the northern edge of Newton County. And Boone County also experiencing some heavy rain. But this little reflectivity drop, that's something we definitely have to watch because that could show the storm starting to try to surge out. Yeah, you won't be able to see anything with that tower. Just nothing. All right, let's go back and show you our severe thunderstorm warnings for the River Valley that we're covering. And then, like I said, we're going to drop off of television and we're going to continue to stream this severe weather coverage. We just want to make sure that doesn't ramp up to a tornado warning status, but it doesn't look like it will. Severe thunderstorm warning has been dropped for Fort Smith as it expired, and we'll continue to watch all of this activity. How's that latest image radar scan on Mega Doppler? Looks like that's still showing a little bit of rotation, but might be gusting out a little bit.
Gusting out a little bit.
Yep.
It was definitely a little bit more impressive south of Huntsville.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to stop our live coverage on this June 7th, Saturday, 6:46. We'll be streaming on knwa.com, 479 First, our streaming channel.
Yes.
Also, YouTube, X, Facebook. Join in on the conversation. Good morning to you. And keep it here with your weather authority, and we'll keep you safe.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, sir. Great job to you as well.
All right, we're clear. So, yeah, we'll watch this area that's showing up. Man.
Hey, do you need any fuel before you do the picture on Red Road?
I do. I was looking at that.
Yeah, that's for you.
I'm checking this out.
Because I forgot your cupcakes, which I'm still going to give to you and your card.
Oh, thank you.
So that's your pre-cupcake gift.
Josh, you did a great job, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Pretty much everybody can go to bed, but
yeah,
you can also wake up too because it's 7 o'clock in the morning.
I know, right? Time to get ready for some Razorback baseball.
Josh, I love you, man. You got so much energy. This cracks me up. It's awesome.
So you want to know what was funny? I got something to show you later today. Something that may give you a little comic relief. In the first live stream after you were done, because I was like putting the phone really close to the camera, the camera zoomed in really close to my face.
Oh, did it really?
And so I spent 30 to 45, and I was going like back and forth, like I was showing my cameras and stuff like that. And then somebody was giving me a suggestion on how to fix it and stuff like that. And so we were just going through this whole escapade.
You want to know how to fix it? I'll tell you.
The finger guns.
Yeah, you do this
right
here.
Yes.
That's how you stop it from zooming in. And then you do it, and it'll zoom back out. There you go.
But it took forever for me to figure it out. So when I figured it out.
Oh, no.
Yeah, oh, no.
Ah.
Yes. I figured it out, and like everybody just went crazy in the comments. It was so funny.
They loved it.
I was like, let's go.
Now it's not. Now it's not zooming out.
Yeah.
Now it keeps wanting to zoom in on me.
Oh, boy. Is it doing it again?
Yeah.
There we go.
Hey, so Kingston, just be ready because we got this little area that's just southwest of Ponca. It's not tornado warned, but it is. It's showing potential because you can see. Look at that reflectivity drop. And here's the deal: if this breaks, if this is a line break, that could lead to something. But that is a huge descending reflectivity core.
Wow, no kidding. Very strong winds.
And inflow too. Look at the
Yes.
inflow that's occurring.
Those are some intense winds right there.
Yeah. Winds that are going towards the storm. So that's all inflow.
My favorite part of the storm.
Up close of Dan's forehead.
Yeah.
I know.
Go back to
Mhm.
1 panel.
Yep, Maggie. That's exactly what we're looking at. Southwest of Kingston.
Quite concerning.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Definitely. Are you getting some strong winds where you are, Maggie?
I bet.
The winds ramping up? I bet they are. Yeah.
Where is that headed? Let's take a look at a path.
Looks like that's moving almost due east.
Almost due east, yeah. And what's the speed of the warning?
Let's see
Mhm.
here. It's moving east at 42 knots. So
Osage is okay.
42 knots.
Osage is okay. All right. $42, you said? Knots?
Knots, yes, sir. That's like
So about 40. Well,
50.
let's go 50.
Yeah.
And we'll go over the next hour.
There you go.
There's your path. There's where you can expect it. Yeah, Marble, you can come out of the shelter.
Oh, old Snowball. 740.
Laura Walden. There you go.
There you go. Good report. Live from
I was
Kingston.
trying to think of our viewer in Kingston, and I haven't slept in a little while, and I couldn't remember Laura Walden's face. And I was going to give you a shout out on the coverage, but thankfully you commented.
There you
So,
go. Yes.
I'm sorry, Laura. I forgot. I was like, gosh, I know her name.
Lack of
Laura
sleep.
Walden. Laura Walden. Yeah.
Yes. Lack of sleep. We'll do that too. Yeah.
It was insane in Stillwell. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Trees down, half the power. McDonald's was closed. I think it was bad. Sorry, I'm eating gummy clusters.
It's fuel. It's pre-workout.
It is.
That's what Zach eats all the time secretly before he goes and works out.
Well, what's this? You're wondering the same thing about 479 first? Well, I think because we're off air,
Yeah. That's
I don't
probably
think
why.
it's on there anymore.
It's only like when we're cutting in live TV most of the time. But
Oh, I saw that, Rodney. Yeah, about the Centerton, the Bentonville West camera. You sent that right as I was trying to avoid a catastrophe in my backyard.
yeah.
And also trying to figure out that lightning strike. So had a little bit of a busy morning, but I appreciate you being on top of it. He
Yeah.
emailed me at like 3 a.m.
He's all over it, man. He was on our live stream earlier too.
Man, Rodney's awesome.
Ronnie's
Yeah.
a cool dude. I got to see him out at Kia when I was doing a Rugger on Remote in Bentonville.
There was a wind shift south to north. And this is the reason right here.
Yep. Right.
Josh, I'm going to share the love here.
Oh, okay. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
I know it's rude to eat while you're on camera or you're talking, but deal with it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Just deal with it.
Yeah.
It's like a meme. You could here's my idea for the meme. It's just you showing like a gummy cluster and it just says deal with it. at the
Deal with
bottom.
it.
Yep.
Yeah. Zach would be disappointed.
Yeah. Just Zach's disappointed face.
I'm going to run circles around him here in a few hours.
You got your pre-workout. You're
Mhm.
gonna be good to go. Plus it's cardio too. And Zach says cardio's bad. Just kidding.
Man.
I'm just kidding.
He says it's bad because he can't run as much. But there's look at weathers. So this is starting to die out. Yep. It was a little stronger earlier, and you'll see that. Look at that when it was approaching Huntsville.
Yeah,
And
that was
this is an
cranking up.
area that you said you were going to be watching.
Mhm.
Well, look at this too. We'll show you this. This is kind of cool. You can see all the little circulations. Look at all
Wow,
of
that's pretty
them.
cool.
All over the area, Washington County.
Wow.
If we go back in time, you'll get to see, look at that by Stillwell. You're mentioning how it was really bad in Stillwell. No, there's the strongest circulation of the entire time. So There's that reason for the wind shift. Nope, no more tornado. All right, so who can go to bed? Or stay awake
Or stay awake.
at this point. That's old. That's new.
Mhm.
So it's done. Springdale, Fayetteville, Bentonville, Washington County's over. Madison County's almost done. Boone County has a little bit of rain and thunderstorms, but nothing severe
Carroll
and
County.
not even tornado potential. Johnson County, that could be something
No.
starting to show up. Yep. And Josh, here's the deal, man. I'm going to have to pass the baton to you at about 7 o'clock this morning.
Yep. Because you've got MCing to do.
I do. I'm
Yeah.
seeing this Big Trail Mud Run and singing the national anthem too before it.
Right. So right after you almost got struck by lightning, after your backyard flooded, after you had to come into work again this morning on your birthday,
It's all right.
it's time to sing the national.
Yep.
Let's go.
But then it's time to celebrate a hog victory.
Yeah.
This afternoon. Oh. The cap is breaking over here. I love it.
Suey.
Love this guy. How excited he gets.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Tony V's in town, man. You know, this is a good sign in my opinion. Tony V, like we're bringing the lightning and the thunder to you.
Oh
brother.
yeah. We're showing you what's up, baby.
This is how we do it in Northwest Arkansas, big dog.
Yep.
Tony V wants to be the Arkansas coach so bad. You can tell in his interviews.
Yeah.
He wants to be here so bad.
Well, maybe when Coach Van Horn retires, huh?
Here's my theory.
Yep.
It's either within the next 3 years he's going to retire, or
If he wins the Natty.
exactly. So if he wins it this year, Tony V, you're a hog. I guarantee it. I've seen the future.
All right, back to Johnson County. Harmony, Ozone, Yale, Coal Hill. Yep.
Mhm.
There's a little bit of range folding that's occurring there. Whoops. That is something to watch.
Yeah, it is.
Here's
Man,
the deal.
oh,
I'm gonna take a look here at Little Rock.
Just relentless, dude.
And if you're wondering where Zach is, like, yeah, that's a false
That's
trip.
false.
So Zach Gilday is running the mud run as well. So all the weather team is just awesome, man.
Yeah.
Like-
Rocking and rolling.
And we had a plan. Josh came in. I appreciate you, man, so
Yes, sir.
much coming
Yeah.
in so early.
Absolutely.
Let's do a track on that. I agree.
Yeah.
We'll do that. That's exactly what I was doing right now. So for that storm that's in Madison County, or excuse me, Johnson County, we'll take that track, we'll point it east, and here's who can expect that. So if you live in the Harmony area, it's on top of you.
Mhm.
And this is not tornado warned, but that's kind of got that look.
There's a tornado warning that just got issued for LaFleur County.
All right. So that's in our weather coverage area.
So I'm gonna let Jacob know.
Yep.
So we're about to be back on air.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob?
There's a circulation. It's actually a little west of LaFleur County at the moment, but it's about to cross into LaFleur County. So,
I think that's in LaFleur.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, it is. There's the county line right back here. Oh yeah, that is LaFleur.
Making sure there's no correlation coefficient drop. I just let
Mm-hmm.
Jacob know. He'll let us know in our IFB.
Well, let's do a track on this as well.
Yes.
Okay, I'll hang out here for a little bit.
Let's see what the that's 60 miles per hour, by the way.
Okay. I'll update that track.
Yeah.
All right, let's get on.
Ready, Jacob?
You can do the track. I got it. 60 miles per hour. Cold Court's fine. There's absolutely nothing going on. All right, guys.
Yep.
Stand by. New tornado warning, LaFleur County, going on the air. And do the countdown. 3. Well, we've been live streaming and we've been watching some areas of circulation and rotation, but now we got a new tornado warning, weather 1. We've got a track on this.
Yes.
This is in LaFleur County. So for the southern end of the line, there's going to be a lot of people that are watching on TV. Northwest Arkansas pretty much is done with the severe weather risk, except for Boone and Newton County. We'll get to that in just a bit. Here's that tornado warning, though, until 7 a.m., and this is for western LaFleur County. You can see some of the areas impacted by this, Josh, as well.
Absolutely. So, yeah, we wanted to kind of take you through those areas right off the bat.
7 o'clock in the morning. We're
Yep.
on that tornado warn storm.
Yes.
On weather 1, and look at some of the areas that are going to be impacted. You can see that rotation.
So this tornado warning goes until 7:30 a.m. It's in effect for LaFleur County. Based off this current track, it looks like it will be moving towards the Cedar Lake North Shore at 7:05 a.m. So this is something we mentioned a little bit earlier this morning in terms of, a lot of folks are maybe out and about, going to campgrounds this time of year, right? If you know anybody who's near Cedar Lake at this time, make sure they're taking those tornado precautions right now. You don't want to be outside as these storms are pushing through the area. They can be very dangerous. 7:08 a.m. in Zoe, 7:14 a.m. at Big Creek Church, 7:15 at Hall Creek, 7:19 at Black Fork, 7:21 at Hawes Creek Church, and at 7:24 a.m. in Piney Church. That's a little bit farther east.
Hey,
towards
Josh,
Scott County.
let's adjust that track and put it right on the circulation. So might be just a little bit south. It'll still be the same areas, but that'll give you a little bit more of a super site specific.
Yes,
area.
absolutely. So here's a couple more areas right here. We mentioned some of these, Dan, but how about 7:08 near Perry Chapel? Looks like 7:15 near Hontubby, 7:18 Big Creek Church, 7:20 Loving, and then 7:22 in Black Fork. So there's that area of rotation right there that we were just talking about, and that's a much better track of this particular area of interest.
I have to say this because this is a pun, but I'm not loving this pattern by any means. 7:20 and Loving, we're not loving this. I know you aren't either on this Saturday morning taking shelter from a tornado, but definitely want to take your tornado precautions.
Yes, absolutely. If you live anywhere near U.S. Highway 270, really, you just need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. I will say this, Dan, looking at this storm, obviously it's a bit of a challenge, right? But the rotation is pretty broad, pretty weak, in my opinion. But it is something that we've got to watch still because, as we always mention with these QLCS type setups, they can ramp up just like that.
And the reflectivity doesn't look very impressive either. Let's go to, if we can, weather 2. We'll look at Mega Doppler. And this is a look at Mega Doppler. We got the radar from the closest location, Fort Smith. And this is just looks like just general showers. But then when you put on the velocity image, you'll see there's that circulation that's associated with it. Make sure that's set to the storm motion.
It is, yes, sir.
And so if we go back in time just a little bit, here's the county line for LaFleur County. You don't. This is not the county line. This is the severe thunderstorm warning, and then there's that rotation that ramped up. Let's look at the velocity and the reflectivity at this point, just to see what it looked like. And you can see there's not much of a difference.
Yeah.
Just not a very impressive signature reflectivity-wise. Velocity, you can definitely see that area of rotation. But then as we move along in time, it kind of gets absorbed and congeals into that huge line. And now more gusty winds associated with that, about to cross over 270 near Huebner.
It's pretty interesting. Yeah, because most of the time I would consider this like a cluster of storms. Most of the time with a cluster of storms, you have almost zero tornado potential. So the fact that this storm is still ramping up despite that shows how much wind shear we've got in the atmosphere and how much energy and instability we have.
Yeah, we have it all, and we had a lot of moisture leading to heavy rain. We have several flash flood warnings that are in effect. Let's go ahead and we'll take a look here at the radar, and we'll zoom out because we covered that tornado warning. We covered the track. We let you know where it's headed. River Valley, Fort Smith, Alma, you're done. If you're watching and you're concerned about storms, I'll tell you the areas that do not need to worry. All of Washington County, all of Benton County, all of Madison, all of Carroll County. And Boone County got some thunderstorms in Harrison. They're not bad. There's a little bit of an area rotation on the south side of Jasper that we were watching that came through the Huntsville area. If we look at the velocity signature on this, you'll notice a little bit of a circulation, and this could prompt, maybe if it increases a little bit more, tornado potential in Newton County. As of now, severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible. Jasper, Wayton, that's that area of circulation. We'll go back here to the radar again. work our way south. All of Franklin County is pretty much done with the severe potential except for the leading edge of the line. And then you see the severe thunderstorm warnings that are out for Little Rock that include Johnson County, Logan County, Scott County, Yell County. So all those areas.
I'm just keeping an eye on our Waldron High School camera, Dan. That this storm will eventually move into Scott County. I know it's pretty far away right now, but I'm facing it off to the southwest just in case here. You can't really see anything
That's
at this time.
Great idea, yeah.
But I've got it pointed towards that storm just in case you want a view of that. Okay, so 1900 without power in Madison County. We just got a report on that from our director, Jacob, who's in the production room.
And Laura Walden mentioned that the winds were getting pretty intense in Kingston. So
yes.
We appreciate that. That was on Facebook Live that she was commenting. One of our loyal viewers always provides pictures and videos and reports. And so we appreciate that, Laura Walden from the Kingston area.
Absolutely.
Didn't forget the name this time.
No, you did not. Yes. So despite the lack of sleep, Dan. Yes. You're going to be running in about 30 minutes too.
Yeah. I'm going to have to actually pass the baton to you, literally, like a relay race here.
Yes.
We'll cover this storm for a little bit longer, or at least I will. And then, Josh, you'll take us through the rest of the morning. But I think the storm threat is over. We aren't expecting any more storms. The weather will quiet down. Yes, we do see a chance of storms Sunday night into Monday morning. But then after that, we'll have a quiet weather period for a couple days, and then more rain and storms comes in at the end of next week.
It's relentless. It's been relentless. I mean, I said this on KNWA Today with Ashlyn and Jackie a few days ago, Dan. Ever since basically the last week of March, it's just been nonstop. Nonstop in April, nonstop in May. So far, June, it's been crazy. This has been one of the busiest years in Northwest Arkansas ever.
It's a La Nina year.
Yes.
You have a highly amplified weather pattern. You got a lot of troughs of low pressure with the jet stream and
oh no, southwest flow.
Oh no, it's southwest flow. Oh, brother. Well, we were going to enjoy a beautiful afternoon too, but mud just got everywhere. So we'll deal with that later. I know some other people have it a lot worse. There's a new update on that tornado warning that's in Leflore County, southern Leflore County. That is the new update. We'll take a look here at that, and I'll zoom in. You can see the reason it's blinking is because they have cropped out part of the warning. Zoe, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. We'll take a look at the velocity signature, still showing up. Not quite as impressive as it was when it was in just west of Leflore County, but that's going to be that area that is tornado prone. And if you want to look at the information on that tornado warning, we've got it until 7:30. Yeah, radar indicated rotation.
And this is going to be moving towards the Page area as well, just off to the north of Page, U.S. Highway 59. I know we like to use landmarks and stuff like that. So if you live near U.S. Highway 59 in Leflore County, just off to the east of Zoe, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. Very similar story along Highway 270 as well, just off to the west of Black Fork. We'll see, Dan, if they continue that tornado warning into Scott County. But based off the current velocity image, it looks like this is still pretty broad, pretty weak rotation. It was much stronger about 15 minutes ago. So maybe it's trying to gust out a little bit more.
Hopefully it does. Yes. Still shows a little bit just to the south of Huebner. If we go to let's go to Mega Doppler here real quick, and we'll do that on Weather One. Mega Doppler is a great resource. It really focuses in on the areas of rotation, and the velocity signatures just look a lot better. They're a little clearer, a little more high resolution. Let's go to that if we can. We'll bring up the velocity signature, and there you still see a little bit happening right there. So this is something to watch. This could prompt a new tornado warning if that continues. As I know, it just looks like rain.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like a spinning shower.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's the truth.
Yes.
And there's been a lot of lightning. I mean, there's been all sorts of threats from these storms.
My goodness, no kidding.
Yeah, and you just see the amount of lightning.
Yeah, that does have a lot of lightning.
We're gonna have to go through all the cloudy ground lightning strikes. I know you got time lapses of that and many other things, but Black Fork, you need to be in your safe place. Page, you need to be in your safe place. Get downstairs under something, center house, keep away from windows. This is a radar indicated tornado. And so when we say that, here's a look at the different types of polygons along with some information on there. So downstairs under something, center of your house or building, and keep away from windows. and that still looks pretty menacing.
Like it
So
could prompt
we'll watch
tornado
that.
potential. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Bring that up, and there you get the tornado safety a little bit larger. So the reason that we do that acronym is so it's easy to remember. Kids know how to spell the word duck.
Yeah.
They can just rattle off what it stands for.
Absolutely.
Saw a college student now when I visited elementary school. It came up and they said, "I still remember duck." I was like, that was cool.
It's catchy.
So,
it's
yeah.
catchy. Yes.
And I got to give the hat tip to an ode to Mike Francis, meteorologist that I worked with in Little Rock. He's the one that introduced me to that, and
That's
I'm
awesome.
carrying that as long as we go. So,
and when I see duck too, I think of Cam Kogel for Arkansas baseball, since he's a big duck hunter.
oh, of course you do.
Absolutely.
I knew you would think of Arkansas baseball.
There's always a connection.
But we're watching this. We're keeping an eye on it. We're definitely not taking our eyes off of this storm, even though we're kind of mentioning some other things, color commentating, if you will.
Yes.
That circulation is showing up. So, Josh, here's the deal. I got to pass this along to you.
Yes, sir.
I've got that Pig Trail Mud Run that's coming up. That's a great fundraiser for Springdale Rotary. There's a lot of people that are signed up. By the way, the War Eagle Run that's happening at Hobbs State Park, that's also going on.
Yes.
And that's because the rain and the storms are out of here. But this is an area of rotation with these showers that could still prompt a tornado to develop at any time.
Absolutely. And that's why we're going to stay on it a little bit longer
Yeah.
here. And I'll cover that as long as there's a tornado warning.
All right. Thank you so much, Josh. You guys have a great Saturday, and we will see you guys later.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Let's keep it up on Mega Doppler here. Thank you so much, Dan, for coming in this morning on your birthday. And here's a look at how heated cooling Mega Doppler. Again, we're going to go back to a full screen image here. That way we can take a closer look at that. We're also going to pull up the polygons. We're going to keep those polygons up because I think that's very important to show here, especially considering that we still have radar indicated rotation. So a lot of the time what we mean by that is that when we're looking at these polygons, we always look at the outlines for the polygons, right? So you're looking at the top of your screen there. You can see that we've got that tornado warning that's currently in effect. It does not have any of that black outline around it. That would mean that there's a confirmed tornado on the ground, whether that be from storm spotters or a radar. It shows like a correlation coefficient drop. So this is why right now this is just radar indicated rotation. We're still watching this very closely just off to the north and west of Page. This is going to be along US Highway 59, along with US Highway 270. If you live near those locations, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. Again, this is just radar indicated rotation. This tornado warning goes until 7:30 a.m. So let's go back here to our radar image on live Doppler radar. And again, we're going here towards the reflectivity. And again, it doesn't look like anything impressive there on reflectivity, but when you go back to the velocity image, you can clearly see where that area of rotation is. Again, just off to the east is Zoe right now, right along US Highway 59. And this is moving off to the east right now, about 60 miles per hour. So it is moving towards southern portions of Scott County right now. If there was an extension of the warning, we would see that in portions of Scott County near the Black Fork area. So if you live in Black Fork right now, you probably need to be taking your tornado precautions. You need to be watching this very closely because this storm is going to be there within the next 10 to 15 minutes, moving a lot faster than some of the other thunderstorms that we've been seeing earlier this morning. I want to take a quick look at our Waldron High School WeatherBug Network camera while we're at it here. I've got that pulled up. We're going to face that off to the south and west here. So stand by for just 1 second while we get Waldron pulled up here. So here's a look at that Waldron camera. Again, we're facing off to the south and west. We don't have the best contrast right now, but look at those crispy anvils right there. That's a sign that we've got a little bit more of a healthy updraft right there. So that means this thunderstorm is still trying to strengthen as it moves off to the east, seeing a little bit of lightning off in the distance as well. Right now it's 7:15 a.m. So thankfully, as this storm gets a little bit closer to Waldron, we should be able to get a good visual on it. You can also see some of that low-level moisture as well streaming through that Waldron camera. That's a sign that we've got a lot of energy moving in right now. We're also seeing kind of like instant condensation. So that means that we've got a very, very healthy updraft at this time in portions of the river valley near Waldron. We're going to go back here to Heil Heating Coin Mega Doppler. So I'm going to pull that up right now. Again, getting our new look at that area of rotation northwest of Page. I'm going to step off of the screen here, and we're going to go back to the weather lab. That way we can look at some of the other factors that we look at, such as normalized rotation, and just to see if this storm is trying to strengthen again. And sure enough, it is. And here's what we're looking at here, folks. You may be wondering what this particular product is. It is actually a very important product for us. This is what we call the tornado tracker product. And basically what normalized rotation is looking at, it's looking at the strength of the rotation. So you see these little blue areas there, that's where we have some weaker rotation. And then in that green area, that's where the rotation is a little bit stronger, a little bit tighter in this particular area here, just off to the north and west of Page. This is a very, very, very rural area of LaFleur County, but it's also an area where a lot of folks camp out. And I know it's summertime. I know it's a weekend. Maybe some folks are camping out here. If you know anybody that's out and about right now north of Page, near U.S. Highway 270, U.S. Highway 59, tell them that there is a tornado warning right now. There is a dangerous thunderstorm that's heading their way. And it does have a little bit more of a tighter rotation. Just a few scans ago, it had more of those blues showing up. Now you're starting to see the greens there, and that means the rotation is getting a little bit tighter just off to the north of the Page area. So we're going to keep a close eye on this product throughout the morning hours. Again, we're going to go back here. I want to look actually at our radar overlapped with the instability. We talk about this all the time, right? How much fuel do we have left for shower and storm development? You can see that we've got quite a bit of fuel still out ahead of this supercell right now. It's still got that kind of look to it right there where it's elongated just a little bit. So this is a little bit more favorable for that tornado potential. We go a little bit farther south. Notice how this line is stretched off to the south and west. So that's why this particular part of the line has that tornado warning in effect. I don't want to let our guard down on our storms that are currently moving through the River Valley as well, south of Interstate 40, south of Greenwood, Boonville. You're about to get some very heavy rainfall right now, severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag attached to it. A little bit farther to the north and east, we've got some thunderstorms that are still ongoing over eastern portions of Johnson and Newton County, but those storms will be moving out of our weather coverage area very quickly. So again, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning with that tornado possible tag still attached to it on this thunderstorm that is located in Johnson County. There it is right there, 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-size hail, and again, that tornado possible tag attached to it. And then there's that tornado warning once again along Highway 59 near the Big Cedar area. That goes until 7:30 a.m. We'll see if they extend that tornado warning. I'm going to go back here to Mega Doppler. We're going to look at that normalized rotation again. Again, still right there, just off to the north of Page now. This is going to be heading right towards Black Fork. So if you're in Black Fork, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. I'm going to step out of the way here. We're going to get a storm track going on this storm, but we're going to keep it up on Mega Doppler for just a few moments here. Jacob, okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, so Jacob, if we got that Boonville camera pulled up, go ahead and show that off. So this is in Boonville. So this is going to be a little bit farther to the north of the storm. This is actually the line that's moving through the River Valley right now, southeast of Greenwood. So this part of the line right here is very elevated. So you're not seeing a whole lot of those lower cloud bases there. So that's why this is not prompting a whole lot of tornado potential. Now, one thing that you're seeing northwest of Boonville right now is a very fast-moving clouds. My director, Jacob, who's doing a great job in the production room, he just told me that he was noticing how fast those clouds are moving. That's because we have a very strong low-level jet right now, which means that there's a lot of energy. It's getting pushed east very quickly, and that's why these storms are starting to ramp up a little bit as they move along and south of Interstate 40. So thank you so much, Jacob, for showing that camera. I really appreciate that. I'm actually want to go back to Weather 2 right now, so we can go back to Mega Doppler here. I want to keep it on that screen there. I'm going to make this a 2-box here. That way we can kind of just see both the velocity and the reflectivity, so we can keep a close eye on it. While I'm doing that, I'm going to make a fresh storm track on Weather 1, so don't pull up Weather 1 quite yet, Jacob. I'll let you know when we can do that there. I'm going to make a storm track. We're going to make sure we let people know where exactly the storm is heading right now. Again, the most dangerous part of the storm is located just north of U.S. Highway 270, west of the Black Fork area. This storm is moving off to the east at 60 miles per hour. If we keep that pushing east throughout Scott County over the next 30 minutes, you can see that's going to hit the Black Fork area within the next 5 minutes. So I just mentioned Black Fork, folks. Let's go to Weather 1 right now, Jacob, so we can see that storm track there. And he's going to pull that up here in just a minute. There it is. There's that storm track. So Black Fork, 7:23 a.m. If you live in that area, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. A little bit farther to the east, we're looking at Piney Church at 7:27 a.m. Let's see, Shiloh School at 7:37 a.m., Nella at 7:38, Bush School at 7:41, Bowles at 7:44, and Jenkins School at 7:45 a.m. So that's a little bit farther down the line right now. Obviously, the storm can move northeast or move a little bit more southeast, but that's the current track of the storm. Again, I think this is going to be hitting Black Fork. At least the area of rotation is going to be moving over Black Fork. So if you live in that area, I would go ahead and take those tornado precautions. You're not under a tornado warning right now, but this tornado warning will expire at 7:30, and there could be an extension of that warning into portions of Scott County. So we got a new flash flood warning in effect as well. There's going to be a ton of those this morning. We'll get to those in just a few moments. I know we've seen a significant amount of flooding this morning over portions of northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, but our main focus is on the severe weather right now, at least while we're on air. We'll get to the flash flood warnings before we wrap things up here on live television. But let's go back to weather 2 right now, Jacob, and let's go back to Heil Heating Cooling Mega Doppler. I'm going to make this one panel here. And again, I mean, like I said, there's that area of rotation still showing up. And remember how I was talking about how, that stronger rotation could sometimes show up. Notice how we had some of those greens, a little bit tighter rotation there in eastern Leflore County. It's kind of been ebbing and flowing just a little bit, struggling just a little bit, but still trying to get its act together. And it really is unbelievable how much the storm is able to maintain its strength, considering that if you look at it right now on reflectivity, it doesn't look that impressive on there. But again, sometimes these storms can spin. We've got a lot of wind shear right now, a lot of change in the winds with height, which is why we're watching this storm very, very closely. All right, it's currently 7:20 a.m. I'm going to go back to our Waldron High School WeatherBug Network camera. Let's pull this up here full screen, Jacob, so we can take a closer look at that. Again, we're looking off to the southwest right now. You can see some of those lower cloud bases. As I just mentioned, I'm going to tilt this camera a little bit farther this way. Again, one thing I always look for, and I always like to mention this, when it comes to visually looking at these storms, is I look at kind of the geometry of the cloud bases. And here it is right here. There's that low level moisture right there. I always look for that. That kind of is a sign that this storm is maybe sucking in a little bit more inflow, sucking in a little bit more moisture. That means it's a stronger thunderstorm. We've also got some lightning, obviously, off the distance, and this nice little crispy updraft as well, along with that anvil. That's a sign that this storm is definitely healthy in terms of that updraft, and that means it could create a little bit more spin, which is why it's prompting that tornado potential at this time, and why we're watching it slow closely as it moves through portions of Leflore County. So we're going to be keeping an eye on this. This storm is getting closer to Scott County right now, so as long as it has a tornado warning, we're going to be all over it, and we're going to be letting you know about it. But there's that tornado warning again on Heil Heating Cooling Mega Doppler. This goes until 7:30 a.m., so we still got about 9 more minutes on this tornado warning. I'm going to go right back here to velocity. The area of rotation has now really moved east of the tornado warning. This is why I was talking about Black Fork, folks. So if you're not already in your tornado safe place, you need to be right now. That rotation is moving right on top of you. And to be honest with you, it has weakened quite a bit. So this is a great sign right here. Hopefully that trend continues. I don't know if this will continue to prompt tornado potential, but we are going to be keeping a close eye on it. As long as there's a tornado warning in effect, we will be on this thunderstorm. I want to go back up to the northeast here. This is a look at that severe thunderstorm warning that remains in effect for portions of Scott County, as well as Logan County, at least in our weather coverage area. That severe thunderstorm warning, again, is for 60-mile-per-hour winds, and there is a tornado possible tag attached to it. Let's look at the storm relative velocity. Let's see if we can find any areas of rotation. Very strong winds for sure along this storm. We'll have to watch that very closely there. I'm not seeing any, significant areas for rotation. Maybe some areas of interest here just off to the northwest of Hahn. We'll watch that very closely. But in terms of tornado potential, I think things are beginning to wind down a little bit. So it's 7:23. We're going to keep an eye on the storm. Once this tornado warning drops off, we will drop off our coverage here on TV. We're going to go back to our live streaming coverage on Facebook, X, YouTube, also 479 First, which you can find on Roku TV and the Apple Fire Stick as well. Great resource that we have to find live streaming coverage of severe weather. We really appreciate everybody tuning in this morning. We've been really on the ball since about 1 a.m., and we've been watching these storms very closely. I haven't seen any tornado reports, at least so far, in our weather coverage area. Obviously, we'll keep a close eye on that. We've been getting some reports of some very strong winds, some flooding as well. But the severe weather potential is beginning to wind down over a large part of our weather coverage area. Here's a look at the latest radar image there. Again, the area of rotation right now is east of the tornado warning. So the area of interest is actually east of that tornado warning, but I'm just not seeing a whole lot there on radar. Like I said, I mentioned Hahn just a few moments ago. There is maybe elongated rotation there, but nothing too crazy. Not seeing any significant rotation as well along that line as we move a little bit farther north and east towards Logan County. So really, I think things are beginning to wind down. And I think within the next 5 minutes or so, we'll be able to drop off live coverage, Jacob. But I'll keep you posted on that front. Let's go ahead and get through these flash flood warnings as well. While we're still here, I don't see anything too significant at this time. I'm going to keep an eye on radar at the same time as we go through these flash flood warnings again. There's that tornado warning that remains in effect until 7:30, but the area of rotation is east of this tornado warning now. We go back up here. Here's that severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible tag, 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-size hail possible until 7:30 a.m. That includes Logan and Scott County, as well as Yell County, which is just outside of our weather coverage area. And here's all the flash flood warnings. Let's go through these one at a time. Flash flood warning issued for Newton County. That goes until 10:30 a.m. That's radar indicated. Another flash flood warning in effect for Boone County. That goes until 10:15 a.m. That includes the city of Harrison. A little bit farther to the east towards Madison and Carroll County, we've got another flash flood warning in effect until 8 a.m. this morning. That also includes Huntsville. And then for northwest Arkansas along the I-49 corridor, Benton and Washington County under a flash flood warning. That includes Fayetteville proper, as well as Salem Springs and Springdale. And again, that is for the significant amount of rain that we've seen over the last several hours and really days as well. In fact, if we look at the precipitation totals, very significant rainfall there. This is really mostly rain that's happened over the last 6-7 hours or so. You can see rainfall totals between 3 to 6 inches in some spots in Washington County. This is what we talk about when we say training thunderstorms. You notice how we've just got this big area of rain right there that moves all the way from Salem Springs a little bit farther east towards Huntsville. So very heavy rainfall there. That's why there's a flash flood warning in effect. We've also seen significant rain in the River Valley as well. So most spots with this event have seen about 2 to 5 inches of rain with locally higher amounts, again, in portions of Washington County. All right, let's go back here to Hali-Hili-Kuli Mega Doppler. And here's some good news, folks. Looks like that tornado warning's been dropped off. I want to take one more look at this real quick before we wrap up live coverage. Maybe a little area of rotation there off to the northeast of Black Fork. We'll keep a close eye on it. Don't think that's going to cause a whole lot of problems there. This is, again, just what I would like to call a spinning shower right here. Doesn't look impressive on radar, but still prompted tornado potential. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 7:30, but I think that might be dropped off as well for Logan County very soon. So with that, we're going to go ahead and hop off of live coverage here on TV. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this morning. If we do have another tornado warning, we'll be right back here on KNWA and Fox 24. But for now, have a safe and happy rest of your Saturday, and thank you for trusting your Weather Authority team. All right, perfect. Thank you, sir. All right, folks, that is it for coverage on TV. Don't really think we'll have to get back on again. I'd be shocked if we did, to be honest with you. Man, even the lights on our thing are going out. We've been on so long. My goodness, it's been a long morning. So yeah, that's it for the coverage on TV. We're still keeping a close eye on this storm as it moves into Scott County. As a matter of fact, let's get right to that Waldron Weatherbug Network camera. You can see the base of the storm starting to push in right now. And again, like I said earlier, we always look for these kind of visual cues. And look at that. See maybe that lowering right there in Waldron. Some lightning going on there as well. Quite a bit of heavy rainfall, crispy updraft, as I always mention. And that is going to be moving through Scott County in just a few moments here. So not a whole lot to report in terms of significant severe weather potential right now. It looks like things are winding down quite a bit. And I think a lot of folks here on social media are ready for things to wind down too. Man, oh man, just a crazy morning. Flash flooding, lightning, damaging winds, tornado potential. I mean, we've had it all so far this morning here in northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. And finally, things are starting to wind down just a little bit. But we're going to take in this camera for a few more moments here before we go back to Mega Doppler. Just want to make sure we have a view of this. Again, you can kind of see the base there off in the distance. Maybe a little bit of an enhanced lowering as well right there. A little bit of a clear slot too, which kind of tells you that this storm is still pretty healthy, even though on radar it doesn't look that impressive, which is just interesting.
So, it shows you sometimes, no matter what the storm looks like, you still have to keep a close eye on it. Thankfully, this storm is going to be moving out of our weather coverage area pretty soon, so we won't have to deal with it much longer. And once it moves out, we're going to wrap up our coverage here and let Little Rock take over on things. That's going to be more of their coverage area rather than us here in Northwest Arkansas in the River Valley. But there's that storm. Here it comes. Starting to roll in right now over Waldron. So Waldron, get ready. About to see some very heavy rainfall. Maybe some small pea-sized hail possibility as well. Nothing major, nothing crazy. There's that lightning flash again off in the distance. But yeah, nothing much else to report with that storm. And look at that, severe thunderstorm warning's even been dropped off. So I can show you that on Mega Doppler. Severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to expire. So there's no longer any severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings in effect. I already mentioned all the flash flood warnings. There's flash flood warnings everywhere right now. We got 5 different flash flood warnings in effect. Otherwise, the overall severe weather potential is very low. Not even seeing a whole lot of rotation on that storm anymore. It's very elongated, pretty mid, as the kids would say. And I think we're just about ready to wrap things up. We'll let this go over Waldron. We'll let it go over our camera. And then we'll wrap it up. And then, right on cue, new severe thunderstorm warning, I think, getting issued. So right when I think things are just about to wind down, new severe thunderstorm warning. So we'll let that pop up here in just a few moments. My goodness, it's just no rest for the weary. Okay, this severe thunderstorm warning barely includes our weather coverage area, and it's a big severe thunderstorm warning too. Oh my goodness, look how big this severe thunderstorm warning is. It's like half the state. This stretches all the way from Yellville in Melbourne to Mena, Mount Ida, and Hot Springs. Are you kidding me? That might be the biggest severe thunderstorm warning I've ever seen in my life. Oh my goodness. Little Rock was just like, you know what? We're just warning the whole thing right now. Now, this barely includes our weather coverage area. I'm taking a picture of this, by the way. This is like history. I'm going to send this to Dan. He'll get a kick out of it. That is a massive severe thunderstorm warning right there. I actually want to go and see what this includes right now. Probably 60-mile-per-hour winds, I've guessed. And there might be tornado. Nope, no tornado possible. So yeah, there's a severe thunderstorm warning that's been issued. Again, just covers like everything. It's crazy. 60-mile-per-hour winds. For our weather coverage area, I guess that includes Scott, Logan, parts of Franklin County, parts of Newton County, but even then, the storm's almost out of those areas. That's crazy. That's a wild severe thunderstorm warning right there. I think Little Rock is just as tired as we are here in the weather lab. And I think it's about time to wrap this up. Look at that heavy rain moving through Waldron. Again, it was just mostly sunny a few moments ago, and now quite a bit of heavy rainfall there. And that warning is an extension of all that heavy rain that's moving through the Waldron area. Actually going to set the storm motion for morning here. Not going to drop off yet just because you never know if things are going to ramp up. I would hate to drop off and then something pop off, but I'm not expecting a whole lot here. Look at that wind, though. That wind's ramping up over that Waldron camera for sure. And that's pushing off to the east very quickly right now at about 30 miles per hour. So this severe thunderstorm warning goes all the way until 8:15. So, yeah, they're tired too, Victoria. I think everybody's tired of the weather. All the meteorologists, all the people in these communities, and I think we're just about done with this. But we got more thunderstorm potential perhaps coming up Sunday night and a Monday too, which is just crazy. It's like, come on, really? Can we catch a break here? It's been unbelievable how much thunderstorm potential we've seen. One more look here at Mega Doppler, and then I guess we can go through a future track real quick and then wrap it up. So there it is right there. There's that storm moving through Waldron. Boonville, Driggs, Paris, Scranton, Knoxville, Clarksville, Fort Douglas, you're clear. Snowball, that's east of our coverage area. This is just about out, and we're just about done here. We've been on since 1 a.m. pretty much. I mean, I know we've split this live stream into kind of two parts. I said we would come back after the new tornado warnings would come out, and we came back and we covered that. So we've been on a long time this morning, folks. Really appreciate those that have stuck with us this morning, have been patient as well. You know, at times some folks have been we've been in and out. So we really appreciate you guys being patient with us. Really appreciate Dan coming in on his birthday. I mean, my goodness, that's a baller right there. So this future track's trash. It's already moving out of the area. Let's extend this to this afternoon. I think we're going to be great this afternoon for some Razorback baseball. Overnight tonight looks fine. Tomorrow evening, maybe some shower and storm potential starting to move in again. But I think the Razorback baseball game will be fine. Remember, the game starts at 2. Temperatures middle to upper 80s. Going to be a little toasty out there, but we should be able to get the game in. Unless it goes to like 20 innings. I think we should be able to get the game in on Sunday. Let's look at the graph real quick. There's the line moving out. Wow, it's got quite a bit of thunderstorm development this evening. We'll see if that actually happens. Overnight tonight looks quiet. This will be really early with the thunderstorm development. So actually, it doesn't even develop anything Sunday afternoon, which is interesting. And really doesn't form anything at all Sunday night into Monday. So hopefully that remains the case because I really don't want to deal with it. Oh, hold on. Dan Scoff's calling me. Hello, Weather Dan. You are on the live stream for KNWA and Fox 24.
Right. Hey, there was a Spotter Network report of a tornado near Mountainburg at 6:19. This is from Dalton Cootie. Said tornado in the mountain area near Mountainburg. It's just west at the moment. Photos of distinct lowering and a funnel reaching the ground. It's here now, and it's going through as we speak in Mountainburg. My speed at my area is 101.11 miles per hour.
My goodness, that's a very specific report right there.
Yeah.
My goodness.
It is. So I just wanted to let you know about it. We were seeing that on our Cartwright Mountain camera before it died like 12 times.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, it's interesting. It makes sense. It lines up.
It does. Yep. It does. I just wanted to let you know about that. That is not an official local storm report. That's a Spotter Network report.
Okay. Well, that's a good report right there. And again, he's so specific with it. It makes me think that, maybe we had a brief tornado touchdown there. And he was going
like it. I mean, I could see what
he was booking it. 101.
I don't know if he was saying that's how fast his winds were or what, because that's like if he's driving at 101.11 miles per hour, you might not want to report that.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when it was like blinding rain and wind.
I think that's what he's saying his wind speed was. I don't know if that's measured or what, but anyways, I thought that was interesting. Wanted to pass that along. Thought you might still be on the live stream.
Yeah, it was perfect timing because I was just about to wrap it up.
Yep.
By the way, I'm going to send you a photo in just a minute. This might be the biggest severe thunderstorm warning I've ever seen in my life. Just to give you an idea, okay? The top of the severe thunderstorm warning is between Yellville and Melbourne. And the south side of
Hold on just a second. Hold on, just Callie's calling. Hold on.
Yes. So Dan giving that report there, and I think it's just about time to wrap this up. So again, thank you guys so much for tuning in on the live stream this morning. We really, really appreciate it. Waldron, you're getting some rain, you're getting some wind, but it's nothing crazy, nothing tornadic, nothing that's pressing. You can see that here on Mega Doppler. Even if there is anything like that, it's east of Waldron now. Maybe a little bit of elongated rotation there in Y City, but nothing that's going to prompt tornado potential, in my opinion. So Scott County, things are winding down. Logan County, Franklin, Johnson, moving on out right now, and that will be out of there within the next 15 minutes. And so We're going to wrap this up here at 7:40 a.m. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the live stream. Again, if you've been up since 1 a.m., you're a real trooper. We appreciate you staying tuned with us and being patient with us this morning. Again, Razorback baseball this afternoon looking great. High temperatures will be in the upper 70s to lower 80s in Northwest Arkansas, middle to upper 80s in the River Valley. Maybe some shower and storm potential coming up tomorrow evening. We'll see if that actually happens. Some models are a little bit inconsistent, but otherwise, enjoy this afternoon. Enjoy the wonderful weather that we're going to have for the Razorback game. God bless everybody, and we'll see you in our next weather live stream. Thank you for trusting your Weather Authority team.